Welcome to the podcast, and this is apparently it's only me. It's a singular podcast. Did no one else
said
press go?
things already. It's not just you.
I could have edited it out. I could have just been. We could have just sat here for 5 minutes and listened to Andrew struggle.
You never edited it out, though.
Okay,
Actually,
welcome to the podcast. Now we're starting again.
That's the marker.
I can keep doing this all day.
That's the sound. It's a very flaccid burp.
Yeah, you need to really go all out for it to be noticeable.
It's not authentic. It's very much like, this is a thing. Look at my trick I can do. Oh god.
Wait, authentic burps. We do authentic burps all the time because we're Let's Players. Half of them the microphone doesn't even pick up.
I don't know what fucking gift you have where you can hide them from your microphone, because I sure as fuck don't.
You know those?
Yeah, no, I don't know what you're talking about.
Sounds.
Yeah, I know you could hear those too when I was doing those, because you asked me a question about it in my Q&A a billion years ago, which is set to the Earth Defense Force of all things, when I used to have a Q&A before it became a Patreon Q&A, which then is also done because I did 100 episodes. Oh god, I've been here forever.
It's all right.
I titled the episode,
that's once per week,
because your question was what you called them was murdered burps. And so that was the title of the Q&A episode. Then at some point I just unlocked real burps all of a sudden, and I don't know what happened. It was somewhere in the last 2 years or something. I suddenly started burping a lot, and I'm like, I literally grew up not being able to do this, so I don't know what to do. This is I'm not ready.
You're taking
it's terrifying.
You're flying high now. It's just nobody can bring you down.
They'll just startle me mid-sentence. I'm like, But hello everybody, we are back, and Andrew is here, and his burps are flaccid.
Wow. All right, I don't think you guys need to keep talking about how flaccid my burps are. All right, they're fine. They're doing their best. All right,
your burps are weak and they will not survive the winter.
I wish. I've had these burps since winter's mini pass.
Yeah,
they just don't leave.
This is the pre-Christmas podcast.
Oh, that's right.
Yep, it's about to be Christmas.
We get one more, right? Before the end of the year?
No.
Because we record on Christmas Day.
Because this will go up on the 20th.
Is it Christmas Day? No, wait. Christmas Day is Saturday.
Christmas Day is Saturday. So
we record
Sunday,
the day after.
We're not recording Sunday.
Why not? I'm just saying this is our last one before Christmas. Sunday is the day after Christmas.
True. I thought you were implying that it might be the last one.
What kind of fucking psychopath celebrates Christmas after Christmas? Aren't we all ready for it to be over by then? This hell that lasts 3 months every year.
You don't like it? Why is it hell?
There was like Christmas shit on Halloween, and I'm like, I hate you all. What are you doing?
If you want to be technical,
Christmas is a bad holiday. Everyone spends $1 billion on trash that people don't actually want on the receiving end for the most part.
Just pay artists and give art out as gifts.
Almost everybody is bad at pretty much everybody is bad at assigning gifts, basically. I said a word I saw on the screen.
Signing?
I said a word that was on the screen in front of me, and so it just snuck in. Pretty much everybody is bad at giving gifts, just across the world. Just everybody sucks at it.
Wow, that's a
especially you. Yeah, no, it's like that's just the universal experience.
Andrew, or
I've talked to people about the gifts that they've given and the gifts that they've received, and also I've been through a bunch of Christmases, and it's just like, no, like almost nobody actually gets things they want on Christmas unless they're literally like a kid who likes video games, and they're like, I want the Xbox on Christmas, and then they get the Xbox. Like, wow, congrats, they passed the bar of the easiest possible fucking thing, which is that you pointed at a catalog at an expensive thing and then that you can't buy. That's the thing.
Yeah,
kids don't have money, so you can blow their precious little minds with gifts because they literally can't get things themselves. Adults, most of us just get the shit we want most of the time anyway. So then you're like having this weird arms race of like, what can I get people that they won't already have? And you're in this weird mix of like, do I share my interest with them? That's a fucking minefield. That doesn't work. And then you're like, okay,
get them a video game.
I'll try to like zero in on their interest, but then you're like, well, they're like in deep on whatever the fuck their hobby or fixation is, whereas you're like looking at it from an outsider's perspective. So anything you can try to get them is like a surface level thing that is like either the most basic thing that they would have already gotten if they cared about this like subject or whatever, or it's something that they like they already know why not to get that, like, and you don't know what faux pas you're doing. So everyone pretty much just smiles at each other and it's like, okay, yeah, ha ha ha, yeah, thank you for my
This seems
75th
really unhealthy.
Thank you for my 75th consecutive Christmas where I get another Doctor Who merch item because you remember
75th.
What? Because you remember once upon a time a vague reference to me liking Doctor Who, so here you go. Like, I've gotten the weirdest things for Christmas. I've gotten like someone had apparently fixated on the idea that I was a Bleach fan, so I got a Bleach Game Boy like DS game for Christmas once, and I was like, what? Okay. And like, of course you're just like, yeah, wow, thank you. But like,
Did you have at least a DS?
Most gifts are bad. At this point, like, the people that give you clothes are the winners. Like, the people that give you people that give you food items that you're not allergic to, and clothing items basically win Christmas because everybody else is like, it's just bad.
Do you not make a list? Is this not a thing you do? You don't make like a list and distribute it to people in your family specifically to avoid that kind of conflict? Okay, I don't approach this that way.
I did as like a little kid, but it's supposed to be like, wow, you're so thoughtful. You were able to come up with a gift for me, and it's like, fucking good luck.
I'm not gonna try to like have my grandparents figure out what anime is, and I'm not gonna have them like try to guess on things that are interesting to me, or like in general know the things that I actually need as a person, because there are always things that you need at any time that you just haven't justified yourself to buy yet. You will buy them some way or another, but you just haven't justified it to yourself to go out and buy it. And those are the perfect gifts. And so like what I end up doing is I'll usually end up going on like Amazon or something and just kind of mindlessly scroll through it and see something like, yeah, that looks like something I need, but I'm not gonna spend money on that. And then just put it to a list. And then at the end of the year, I just go and like throw away all the stuff that I actually just don't need, or I bought already, or it's all just junk to me, and just keep a list of like things that are okay. These are things that I genuinely want, I haven't purchased yet, and they're not like absurd. I'm not asking for like a $400 Figma of my waifu or something.
Figma.
And so yeah, and so like, you know, great guys. This is why you guys don't have good Christmas gifts.
I know what Figma is, though. I know what it is.
And so it's that disease that he got Figma.
No. And so you just give that. I just hand a list to people, and it works really well. I almost rarely get things on birthday or Christmas that I hate.
Because you literally asked for the things explicitly.
Well, why wouldn't you? Why would you not give people a list of the things that you want? So that way, because people, let me tell you, people don't want to guess. They actually don't like guessing. They just want to give you the thing that you're going to enjoy because that's what they're there for. They want the gratification of getting you something because they care about you.
Andrew, there's only so many things that cost little enough that people actually give you as a gift. If you are,
that's not true.
I can't even give people lists anymore. I don't want anything.
Well, how much do you spend on an average Christmas gift for a friend or a family member?
Between $25 to $45, depending on like
it's like from 40 to 60 or something.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Okay, so I think how can you come up with things that cost that? What kind of
really easily? Let's
go. Examples.
So,
let's hear what Andrew wants.
What I did one year for my grandmother was that she had gotten herself an Instapot, and so I went and got accessories for that Instapot for her. Specifically, I got accessories for things that I knew that she or my grandfather would use it for, like making deviled eggs or making pot pies. And so the pack of these silicone things you put into the Instapot that you can cook stuff into specifically. I think a pack of that was like $30 to get like 3 unique little things for that.
Okay.
What is it?
I meant though, that's not a nice gift, but I meant for you. What do you come up with a list for yourself that costs between that?
Oh goodness.
You know what I mean?
Much. There's like
Really?
Yeah, Ogun is yeah. Oh yeah, there's tons of stuff. So if we throw away the obvious, which is manga, there's so much manga you can get me. Like first editions of stuff. There's just a ton. Like
Infinite manga.
you can get me any. You can get me any copy of Poon Poon. You can get me a copy of like just tons of stuff. There's tons of stuff. Like if you throw books out of the window, because books are so easy to. They're usually under $25 and they're pretty easy to give people. Trying to see what list do I got here. I've got a burger press because I don't have the apartment I'm living in. I don't have access to a grill anymore, so I have to make hamburgers on the stovetop. So I use a cast iron for that, and it'd be nice if I had a cast iron thing. There's like heavy cast iron top that I can put on top of the burger to keep it nice and the same shape.
Oh man, I'd probably be more capable of generating a list if I ever lived in an apartment, or like if I ever moved to a solo living situation.
Well, and that's the thing is like for me, I look at it that way. Again, these are things that like I need or I want, but I just haven't justified spending the price. And that thing I just said to you, that's $15. So like,
yeah, it's a nice gift, I think
that's pretty easy. Another thing, I want a hammock for all my stuffed animals. I got too many stuffed animals, and I need a hammock for them all. $15.
I've been on the receiving end of the same breakfast sandwich maker from 3 different people in different years. The same brand.
That's impressive, honestly. That
really
is
impressive. Yeah, especially because sandwich makers are what everybody has already. That's the thing that people have.
I have like
a breakfast
bookends
sandwich
on
maker?
here.
What is that? I've never heard of them before until suddenly they were in my life. Yeah.
I think they must be more common than toasters.
No.
Maybe not in the US.
Definitely. Everyone has a toaster.
They're not. Yeah, they're not more common than toasters in the US.
It's kind of
they're a thing, but they're not more common.
It's like an enclosed cooking little thing that has like a trap door that drops the top half on the bottom half when it's done, basically.
It's more handy than a toaster, I find.
So I just take
it's like making toast.
Take like an English muffin or something along those lines,
or waffles,
jam, like
it makes
you crack an egg on the top of the trap door, and on the below the trap door you put like spinach and sriracha and cheese.
Oh, that's a fancy sandwich maker.
And then you drop the egg on top when it's done. And you got a breakfast sandwich, which I like a lot.
That's so fancy.
I like breakfast sandwiches.
Yeah, there's fancier ones,
but it's
so that's one of the problems I suffer from is I would really like to have more stuff like that. I wish I could, because I'm looking on here for a breakfast sandwich maker and I see one that's like under $40, which makes it a perfect gift.
Yeah, that's probably why I keep getting it. Looking forward to this year's copy of it.
And
I've had to literally smuggle one of them out of the house before and be like, "Here, take it. No, stop talking about it." Because like I was trying to give it to my mom, and she was like loudly announcing the gift's existence. I'm like, shut up, because I was literally trying to smuggle it out of the house without the knowledge of the person in the house that I live with knowing that I was getting rid of it, because it was like another copy of the same one again. I'm like, just take it home.
Oh yeah, the breakfast.
Shut up. She's one of those people that has 2 volumes off and loud, and it's just like, stop. No.
It's like, look, your drug buying voice, bring it down a little bit here, please.
What Keith's mom is Skeletor. Then
I love the idea of someone like in a parking lot buying drugs. It's like, is that the crack cocaine? And it's like, okay, let's bring it down like 16 decibels, like 70 decibels down, please. Let's do like a whisper, but if you were whispering like a whisper.
I'm trying to think of what the worst gift that I've ever gotten is.
A Fitbit was pretty bad.
It is nice. I mean, they suck. But...
Why was it bad? Why was it a bad gift?
Well, I already had one, but also it's like, it's strangely insulting.
Oh.
Is it? I don't know. I have I bought myself, well, like, I think like almost 3 years ago now, I bought myself a like smartwatch, and that is technically like a Fitbit in
that does other
itself.
things. As an overweight person, I get a lot lot of fitness items that are unbidden, and I'm like,
well,
okay,
that's a little that's a little much.
What you're telling me, yeah,
it's interesting. It's interesting you do that.
Well, so I say this because I've seen this before, where like my girlfriend got a Fitbit But she got it like as a hand me down because her sister got a better Fitbit, and so she was like, "Oh, here, do you want my Fitbit?" And it wasn't done in like a mean way. It was just done in like a, "Hey, I got a new Fitbit. Do you want this one? It still works. It's perfectly good." And it like, I don't know, new Fitbits do more than just like keep track of stats. They tell you the time and stuff. So that's like at least still something. At least it's more than just like, "Hey, look, I need you to keep track of how many steps you're taking because I look at you and it's 0." Like, like what is a like? Yeah, that seems really insulting.
Oh, I know what the worst. What the worst gift that I ever gotten was. A star looking. So a sky telescope, but it's like the least expensive sky telescope that was branded as a Earth telescope. And if you don't know the difference, I didn't know the difference at the time either. Sky telescopes don't invert the image. Earth telescopes do. So basically, the way the lens works for the sky, basically if you try to use a sky telescope to look at the stars, and if you try to use it to look at things in the distance, it's all upside down.
Weird.
Yeah, and they got me that, and when I was, I think I was too old for a toy like that, because that's basically a toy. I was like 14 or 15, and somebody got me that, and I did not know enough to know why it was bad.
This year I'm getting like eclectic shelf stable treats that people maybe haven't ever tried before. Is like that's like a reoccurring thing across my gifts this year, because I'm just like, I don't. First of all, I've already made this mistake in recent years of giving like art items or like little statue type things related to people's interests. So like, one,
is that a mistake?
Well, it's like, if the first time you do it, it's like, all right, well, here's a thing they have to like put somewhere or figure out what to do with. But doing it, you can't do it again. So like, that's like, oh, that was that year where I did that. I can't do that with those people again. I have done like a little rotation of giving people puzzles. Like not like jigsaw puzzles, but like weird, like
those are
like
cool.
puzzle boxes and stuff like that. Which is like, that's a little bit of me sharing my interest, but also people will be like, "The fuck," and they'll just like never look at it in many cases.
Aww.
But who knows?
No, I think those are like
puzzle boxes are really cool.
Yeah. You can get ones that cost like 20 to 60 on Amazon or things like that are like all over the place. And you can put like a little, you can put something inside. Like you can be like, "Here's a childhood photo," if it's like your parents or something.
But then you forget how to open it, and then
well, I mean like you can put it inside for them, like before you give it to them, you can give it because you can put a prize inside. Mm-hmm. There's little things you can do like that, but other times it's just like I don't fucking know. You really start to reckon with how little you know certain people. Or just or in some cases just people that you know that you're like, well, I know a few of your interests, but I also know that you make enough money that you just instantly buy everything you vaguely want. So I'm like,
the problem of having rich friends.
Yeah, so you're like, do I buy them a Beyonce disc plate? Like, what the fuck do I do?
That's not a bad idea. Disc plates are really expensive though.
I've got a handful of them around. I've given a few. Like I gave Andrew a Berserk display that was really nice. It's a really good piece of art. That's really nice looking. And I have one.
Andrew didn't say anything, so he doesn't agree with that.
No, I have it. I have it on display.
I know. I'm kidding. I'm just.
Yeah, it's
really nice too because it's like
of
magnetized.
The Eclipse, so it's like a whole,
yeah.
I gave him the Eclipse displayed a few years ago, and I think last year I gave him a box of mochi.
Yeah, he gave me a box of mochi, which I graciously ate. And
I think that was the 6-pack. That was like 6 flavors.
Yeah, I went. I have a Twitter thread somewhere where I went and reviewed each box as I ate them.
And the score was how many you ate that day.
Yeah, how many I ate in one go.
Yeah, matcha and red bean are so good, and
they're amazing.
A few of them are very questionable. Sesame is just kind of annoying because it's covered in seeds, and you're like, can you not?
Sesame's okay though, but peanut butter got me. I was like, this needs to like. I think peanut butter is the roughest one, where I was like crying to get through the rest of it. Like, I don't want to do this. I was like, this is not okay. This is not how mochi's supposed to be.
Yeah,
like
I can't. The rest of them were kind of like, surprise anybody. I don't know where you or Bird live anymore. Things can just arrive.
I guess I do need to give you my new address.
Yeah, you've both moved.
Oh, actually, I need to give you my new P.O. box. That's right. Because it's easier that way. I found that.
I just checked my P.O. box for the first time in like 3 months, I think.
What?
I just got
Is there stuff
I
in
just
there?
got tired of checking, so I wouldn't, because like there's nothing ever there, but there is always a fucking Rayleigh's catalog, like one of those like one of those ones you jam in the newspaper that's like just newspaper paper and it's just trash, and I never look at it. So every time I go to check my PO box, I can tell how many weeks it's been because every week there's another Rayleigh's like fucking newspaper print thing. And so this time I went deep down into it, and I found it was like fucking geological layers when I went in this week. There was they went several layers deep, and then I'm like, okay, I got a few in, and then there's like a farmer's market ad that was like a postcard, like, come to the farmer's market, owner of PO box, like one of those kind of completely based on nothing deliveries, but it was something besides a Rayleigh's ad. Then I got a few deeper, and I found a credit card app for someone who used to own the PO box, so I just tore it up and threw it out. That might be not what we're supposed to do, but he doesn't want a fucking credit card app.
That's what you're supposed to do.
He would have updated his thing. You're supposed to do not at address and then put it back in the mail. But it's credit cards. Fuck it. I just admitted to a crime. I destroyed mail. Come at me, IRS or whatever.
That is a crime. Yeah,
Yeah,
the US is a weird.
I just
thing
admitted
with
to a crime on
mail,
my
doesn't it?
podcast.
It's not a. It's fine.
Yeah, it's a bummer that the vast majority of old mail is just garbage waste that's like making people work more to deliver and sort all of it, but it's just actively trash that nobody wants to read.
It's
but eventually I got enough layers down that I
emails.
got the giant piece of poster board card that they use, that my place lazily uses because they don't use anything else, but they just keep taking a piece of paper and writing down the new information and scratching out the old one over and over again, and it's like, oh, they have a package for me somewhere in there. So I do have a package for my PO box, but I went in on a Saturday at like 1 o'clock, and they'd apparently already closed the actual post office, so all you could do is check your PO box. But my PO box isn't big enough for any packages, basically. So
Yeah, there's no reason to, because they'll hold it in the back for you in like a big old box.
Yeah, but also like today is Sunday, and tomorrow I'm celebrating Christmas with people. So I'm just like, fuck. So I don't know when I'll get a chance, but now it's like this thing in the back of my mind. I'm like, I want to go check out what the package is. What is the package? And that'll
Maybe
be when
it's
I
a
find
gift.
out. Maybe
Maybe it's Andrew's gift and he's not saying anything.
it could be. He did send me a gift before via the PO box. He sent me the newest Junji Ito at the time.
I
it was
did?
Why
I
are
think
you
it
not
was-
saying anything?
I think it was Ramina.
Because I think it was.
Yeah.
I think I sent you and Stephanie a gift. 'Cause I think,
Ramina's fucking hysterical. I don't know if you've read it, but
no, I haven't read it yet.
Ramina is a completely fucking deranged Junji Ito book. It is the most like applicable to Colonels calling them comedies ever. Like
I need to
around-
see it then. I need to
around the part where people are like in low gravity and somebody is slapping a woman against a skyscraper over and over again, like they're trying to dry out a towel. Is just like, what the fuck is happening in this story?
Oh, that sounds amazing.
Like, it is the most deranged story. Like there's a part where he's got this lady by the legs and he's just smacking her entire body against a concrete wall over and over again, like she's trying to dry a towel. I'm like, what the fuck? How did we get here? It's like this, there's a part where everybody's low gravity and they're flying around the entire planet like they're fucking Dragon Ball Z characters. I'm like, this is the absolute strangest fucking thing ever.
So for
done,
context,
ever.
That's great.
I think everybody knows who Junji Ito is, but
Yeah.
my thing
they?
with Junji Ito is that he draws the faces of people in a very specific way, and obviously there's the composition of each panel. It's a horror. He focuses on horror, so it's important to convey emotion and convey reactions and all that sort of stuff. But for some reason, I have this sort of dissociation between whatever horror is happening on the page and the reactions of people. So the reactions of people in the page always come across as unwarranted and like, why are you being scared? Even though it is right there in the page. So for me, it's like always very comedic. That's why Keith was talking. It's comedic. For me, it's comedic. Junji Ito just makes me laugh all the time. I really like it, but it does make me laugh.
I don't understand.
He's
It's
not
not-
he's not maliciously horror.
Like
he's not trying to
you're just like immune to the concept of sequential image storytelling.
No, it's worse
I can't
than that.
associate
It's-
these two images. That's impossible. My brain doesn't do
It's
that.
worse than that. It's in the same. It's not sequential. It's in the same panel. In the very same panel. Like there's somebody twisted into a knot, and somebody being like, "Oh no, that is horrible," and I'm just laughing my ass off because
Their face is funny to you.
their face is funny because like, why are you scared? Even though it's right there. I'm scared because of that terrible thing. Yeah, I think like I'm trying to analyze why, because it's sort of a subconscious reaction at the end of the day. I
This
think
doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I'm not too
I'm just
sure
trying
what
to
you're-
analyze
what- what's
why
going
I
on
find
here.
it funny.
I
But
guess
think
he's
that's
just
the
got
reason.
I don't know. His brain doesn't
Yeah,
agree
so-
with comics as a concept.
No, I think like, yeah, I don't know, like because maybe I'm used to being like in horror movies specifically. Horror is I enjoy it in a more solitary perspective where I'm scared of what's in the screen, not the people on the screen, and if they are scared, it's their own thing. But like it's a movie, so you don't fixate on people's faces, you fixate on the monster. But because it's a comic book, you have time to. Yes, there is a weird a scarab person. It's not scarab. What is it? Snail person coming up the window on the hospital. And yes, that woman is pregnant with mushrooms. But look at this person's and their open mouth. Isn't that funny? And then I just laugh.
You just
the
laugh
mouth
at
is
their
open.
scared faces over and over
Yeah.
again.
Yeah, and the more I focus on, like, I think at first I wasn't aware that I found it funny, but then the moment
like
I realized, wait,
Sans.
this is not the right reaction to have to this, I find it even more funny.
I don't know. I have no idea.
Yeah, I mean, I can't really say you're wrong because you're welcome to interpret manga however you wish.
Yeah, it's weird.
There is no wrong way to interact with the medium, but that is interesting that you are having those feelings reading a Junji Ito novel. That's usually not it's usually not the
what he's
way
going
that-
for.
yeah,
very
it's
much the
usually
opposite,
not
yeah.
yeah. But
Like, I'm
I
not
mean,
always
it's- I don't
expecting
know,
the
I-
super eye patch wolf reaction where he's like acting like his fucking brain is imploding from the sheer horror of what he's beholding or whatever the fuck, which is like a lot. But like,
yeah.
comedy is a weird reaction to some of it. There's definitely really funny
There-
scenarios, and there
I
is
mean, I
a
get
certain
it.
element where like it's such
Yeah.
an intense emotion or like concept that whenever he doesn't successfully make it scary, it's really funny. Like the boy who is a spring, the Jack in the Box story from Uzumaki is like
Yeah.
the least funny thing in the middle of a series of it's the most funny and least scary thing in the middle of a series of relatively fucked up stories.
Mm-hmm.
Like as horrifying
but
as
no.
like the mosquito hospital is or whatever and things like that. There's the fucking Jack in the Box boy is the like most bizarrely funny thing he could
Yeah.
have come up with.
Yeah. But like, I don't find it funny. Like, I agree with you, but that's not like it's not funny because look, a silly scary thing. No, that's not what I say. It's like my I think I find it funny because of the people's reactions. Because then like. Specifically with the hospital and the mosquitoes, I'm like, oh, look, there's a horrible thing in this panel. The next panel, I bet somebody has their mouth open and being super scared. Oh, look at them. That's them being scared. And
Yeah, well,
I'm
usually it's the opposite. It's the page. Maybe you're reading these backwards. Oh God,
sorry. No.
because the
No, I know
art
how
of
to read
the
manga.
art of the page turn is that you show the shocked reaction and they're, oh God, what's it gonna be? And then you turn the page and it's a full page spread of like the thing that they saw that they were reacting to.
Yeah.
So usually the
But then
reaction
they
comes
continue.
first to hype the page turn, which is one of the
Yeah,
things
but
that
then-
doesn't, in some ways, doesn't entirely work about converting it into an anime. Is that it's a different medium in
jump
certain
scare.
ways.
Well, it is a bit of a jump
It's not
scare.
a jump
that page
scare,
turn.
but it's like at most you're gonna like cut from a reaction to an image, I guess.
yeah, because there's a build up when you're turning a page.
Although Junji
Yeah,
Ito
makes
and
sense.
Berserk both have the issue of like having such detailed art that when they try to animate it, they end up like reducing the fidelity of all of it because animation is specifically almost always low detail things. That's why they keep trying to make Berserk 3D because like we have to fucking draw this shit. Are you insane? And then and even the 3D is bad. Although I I never understand how things happen. It's so there's I guess it's just nepotism and other strange choices in many cases. But like Berserk's a really weird example where I guess one of the more recent shows was created by a studio that had never like really done animation before or 3D animation or something. Like they didn't even give them to like a good studio. They were just like, good luck.
Yeah.
Learn how to do it from scratch, and then it's like a train wreck. They had to like update the show.
Popular. Yeah.
They like repeatedly updated the show a few times in subsequent releases to try to fix some of the problems, which is horrifying because I watched an extended video about it, and they were like, "Wow, look how fucked up all this animation is." This is the updated version. Then they showed the original version that actually aired originally, and it was like guts like just kind of like fucking stick manning down the street, like as like a rigid model that just goes do 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 do, like somebody would hold a toy.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh no!
Why did they? How?
So
How was the bad one I saw a second? Originally not the original bad one. No.
Yeah, there's a lot of this is a really interesting problem that happens in anime as it continues to tries to be more efficient but also cheap. So obviously anime is on like a hyper deadline, which is somewhat, some would argue, unrealistic. And like a really good example is Attack on Titan, which is a show that obviously has these like really large and stupid dopey looking giant titans chasing after people, and trying to draw them doing stuff is fucking awful. There is nothing pleasant about trying to draw action sequences with the proportions being as insane that they are. You can ask like anybody who's ever watched One Piece and you're like, oh yeah, this is really tough. Like it's so hard to try to figure out how a person that's like 50 feet tall is punching a kid that's 5'5". Like how do you draw this well? And so the Attack on Titan cheater way is that they make this really shitty 3D model and they have it do really basic generic poses that look okay, I guess. They're like passable for television. You're not going to be like, you know, kids that are like between the ages of 5 and 15, which is the target demographic.
3D and live action trickery happening in a lot of anime. Like straight up like original The Lord of the Rings rotoscoping sometimes, like that kind of stuff, or even
exactly. And you're not going to pause the screen. So like, you know, obviously a kid watching it on Saturday morning is not going to be pausing their TV and going over it frame by frame and scrutinizing it like some kind of weirdo would. And
also,
so
a lot of people just aren't good at recognizing that stuff in the first place. Like, I mean, like it's like
true.
Think about the number of people that have frame smoothing turned on their TVs and don't know that it's on.
Exactly. And so what happens is they obviously can take these shortcuts because they know that they can get away with this on television. But when it comes to when it comes to the release later, obviously, if you are selling a product, you want it to be the best possible product you can do. And so usually what will happen is, like, again, Attack on Titan as an example, there are a lot of comparison videos between the broadcast version and the release version. And the release version looks great. They go back and sometimes they'll do like hand-drawn actual frame by frame animation for the fights with the Titans using those 3D models as the base. But obviously at the time they didn't have the luxury to go over that. So they just like use the 3D model in the interim. And so like that's the draw of buying Blu-rays for anime, is that you're getting the finished product in the Blu-ray. The television version isn't the finished product. That's the rushed beta.
That's a new phenomenon, though, isn't it?
This is something that started
like
taking
10
place
years?
like in the early this is like the early 2000s. So once anime was like once it became the point where you were having like 20 to 25 new series every fucking season, then it started becoming this problem of like, okay, the only way that this is feasible is if people are like mass produce, you know, like they are taking shortcuts to produce this much content in a small amount of time.
Because I remember when I was still watching anime. This was back in 2012, maybe. Some of the stuff that I was watching as it released looked so incredibly bad oftentimes. Like even Bakemonogatari, for example, and other series from Bones specifically. One of the studio. Bones is a studio. Like it just looked terrible. The animations were just bad.
Yeah.
They weren't. Yeah, and they completely redid it for the DVD, Blu-ray, not DVD. And I've seen,
it's a pretty common thing. Like I said, especially it started happening more as the 2000s happened. because back in the 90s, it was really obvious if you use like CGI because it looked like poop, and so
It was
you
fun
should really,
watching.
like,
I watched. A lot of us watched Cowboy Bebop recently, and it was fun.
Yeah.
It was fun spotting the multiple, relatively subtle uses of 3D throughout the thing. Whenever you have to have a complicated enough thing that moves around, it's usually 3D even back then. But also, did you spot the live action part?
No. Which part are you talking about? I'd have to.
It's the fridge episode opens on a live action horror segment crawling through the vents, and it's definitely someone with a camera going through some dark space and then making the footage even darker, and then that's the footage of like the parasite monster thing going through the vents. Like it's absolutely live action. Like I was like, this is moving weird. That you would never draw it this way. This is like that weird uncanny feeling you get when you watch a Joel Haver animation, and it's like it's using that one AI generated animation thing where they just film himself and then they draw over it and then it tries to like match himself. Yeah,
AI generated.
Yeah, like those like Twitter memes where people, or it's probably from something else originally before Twitter even, but like where somebody will like animate themselves, their faces, they film themselves like singing or talking or something, and like but they show the avatar like some like anime character or something, and it matches their animations. That's basically Joel Haver's. All of his animations are basically like kind of a version of that, but like it takes more work, but it also looks kind of janky in certain ways. But he basically draws the keyframes of drawing over himself, of his live action footage. And then it tries to like interpolate the rest of it to make a full animation, and that's basically like how he single-handedly is able to make an animation like every like 2 to 4 weeks or something for its like 1 minute skits. And it has obvious seams. There's like
it creates a unique style though. Like it's a very unique style.
Although
that I
the
would say
uniqueness is that he's using a public thing that everyone can use. That.
Sure,
people
but I
keep
meant
calling
like
it Joel Haver style. I'm like, I mean, it's just using someone else's program that does that thing. But the upside is that you have these really realistic like mouth movements and stuff like that, and like weird little nuances to like how like a human body kind of twitches and wobbles and things that make it like look very different. But then if he ever like walks a little bit or something, like giant smear across the screen of his character just breaking. Like it's so he has not gotten better at it. Like it's I like the videos, but like the I don't know how anyone is not massively distracted by like how the number of times his character just completely breaks, and I'm like, oh man, all right, I guess you're on a timetable and it's probably your living by now, so you got to get these videos out. But I'm like, I would be like so distracted by that obvious problem that he definitely sees that I would never like. I wouldn't be able to hit publish. I'd be like, okay, I gotta do it again. I gotta keep going until I fix it.
I wonder if he does see it though. Maybe he's like a YouTuber.
Has to. They're so obvious.
Well, I think he keeps them in on purpose.
Yeah.
I think there's like a mixture of like this is something that people expect to be there, but also like I don't think he just has the time. I don't think you can just reasonably.
It's like my fucking Resident Evil video where I had to re-edit it 17 times to finally get it one that went out, and then that one got blocked like a month later, and I had to go and put it up again I have like a fucking like red border around the screen now because I'm like, just fucking stay up. I can't keep doing this. Like at some point, like you've redrawn and reanimated and sat through like the long rendering process so many times that you're just like, all right, this is as good as it's gonna get. I'm dead inside.
Yeah.
And that's anime, but with more people.
Basically, yeah. It's with a lot more yelling, a lot less pay, and most importantly, a lot less gratification at the end of it because most people don't know your name and they still think your product sucks balls. But
but mostly it sucks balls because of market dynamics, because that's actually a big problem in anime.
Anime is just a mess from like top down. It's a fucking all of it's a mistake poorly built on top of like flimsy twigs. It's fine.
It's really funny watching like Gretzko and other things that criticize Japanese like office culture and stuff like that, because I'm just imagining like the bosses that run that company being like the Garfield meme where he's looking at a no Garfield sign like, I wonder who that's for.
That's what I thought about. So there's an anime called Shirobako, and its entire premise is about just like an anime about a girl who joins the anime industry and makes an anime. And there's a lot of there's a lot of times where you're watching it and you're like, doing that thing of like that like gif of the monkey like looking side to side really nervously,
Yeah.
because there's a lot of like scenes where they're talking about, wow, oh, it's really hard to make a deadline like this when you can't decide, like the director can't figure out what he's doing. And you're
Yeah.
like, oh god, like I hope this anime didn't have any directorial issues. Like
Womp,
there's
womp.
there's a lot of like weird side eyes that go into making any kind of like meta commentary about a medium. But anime is a lot of fun because it's like nobody is not aware of how bad it is. Like everyone kind of all agrees universally it's not great, but
Except the kids.
but there's nothing you can do. Like it's an intricately messed up system. It's kind of like Hollywood, where there's not like you can't just you can't go and make Hollywood movies for like $20 anymore. And it's like there's a lot of reasons for that.
Did that ever happen?
Sure. I mean, when $20 was worth like $2,000, you used to be able to, but but still, like this is before, like the more that movies have become, there's like expectations and even just basic requirements that cost so much just to get a movie to the end point, that you can't make a movie at a reasonable cost anymore without so much upfront and so much like complicated systems. So like, just to make a movie, you need a specific camera to fit onto the screen. And that camera costs a lot of money because it has to be able to do all these dumb things that you probably don't need it to do. And it needs like, there's just so many like dumb things that you kind of have to do because it creates a standard, but also at the same time, it just kind of creates a hard barrier of entry. So like new anime studios coming up have a harder time to get their feet going than say like old studios that have already been there for a long time, which is like the problem with going back. This is the problem that Berserk had, is that they gave this property to somebody who like they were relatively new to doing full 3D animation. This wasn't something that they were like the best at doing, but they were trying their best. And this is like, hey, we're gumping into the market, we're gonna do this. And it's their company isn't bad. They've gotten progressively better as time goes by, but Berserk was like not well handled, and you can see that a lot. And it's not like it's partially their fault because they didn't know they didn't know how to do this properly. But at the same time, like how else do you do this? How do you give like if the Berserk license or whatever doesn't have enough money, which they don't. Berserk isn't like hyper popular or anything in Japan. It's not like One Piece or a shonen series where you can show this to your kids. You're not showing your small little 5-year-old infant rape. Like this is not what you do. And so like a shonen gets a lot more money. It's easier to advertise. You can put it on the side of a bus. You're not going to do that for Berserk, obviously. And so it doesn't have a lot of money. The project doesn't have a lot. So you have to find somebody who's like, on a small budget, but can also like still make something of quality. And so a small studio can come and do that, but they still have to go through so much hurdles and hoops and hooplas that even by the time it's time to do the thing that they have to do, they've like spent so much money on a lot of other things. They don't have the money to like, make the product as best as they possibly can. And once all that happens, once all of it's said and done, the reason that the quality can be even worse on the release of a product is because they didn't make a lot of money once it was done. So once it came out, and like you do your little short burst of like, okay, who's going to pick up product sponsorship for this, and who's going to pay us money to make us like to have us make plushies or whatever the hell. If that doesn't happen very well, then all you have is the DVD sales. And if that's all you have, then like you don't really have much upfront money to make those DVD sales better. You just have to like do whatever you can to like, it's like you're just scrounging by whatever you can to make your company not collapse in on itself. Which can lead to rushes, which can lead to sloppy work, which can lead to a bunch of other problems. But like I think it's Kodansha is the one who owns the rights to Attack on Titan. They have a lot of money, and that series makes a lot of money. And so they have like the luxury of kind of skirting around on their anime and then paying a lot more afterwards. Because, they get a lot of license deals and all the marketing and the plushes, and everyone wants a stupid Levi doll or whatever. And you can, with all that money, then you go and say like, okay, now make the Blu-ray better. And then you sell these Blu-rays for a giant fee. for small amounts of episodes, and then that studio gets that money, and then they can keep
Anime is
the cycle going.
expensive to buy.
Anime is expensive to buy. It is not well made, but it makes sense. This is the thing, is like people don't understand this a lot, but like streaming isn't good for anime as an industry. It's actually terrible for anime. DVD sales are like the king here, and Western audiences primarily are not very king at buying Blu-rays. They're very lazy and just want to like stream everything and be done with it, throw it in the trash and forget it ever existed. And so this, like, a lot of this industry is held up by Japan itself, like people going out and buying those Blu-rays. So when you're, I love seeing the arguments of like, what? It was so popular. How come there's not a season 3? It's like, I don't know. Did you buy the Blu-rays? Did you go out and buy all the Blu-ray copies? Because I bet you someone did in Japan, and that's the only metric that matters.
I just bought a copy of Cowboy Bebop, Knocking on Heaven's Door, because it's impossible to watch it anywhere.
Yes,
it's nowhere.
That's another thing. Is that license deals are not that profitable. They're kind of like these side things. So there's not really much incentive to go out of the way to spend a lot of time.
They just let stuff die half the time. There's like, all right, this anime's dead forever. Bye.
There's no,
only
because it's not interesting.
Only recently could you actually watch Paranoia Agent or buy it in any context. It just vanished for like a decade. Like they're like, fuck it, throw it in the garbage.
Yeah, exactly. And so that's the thing. There's another, again, there's a lot of there's also a mentality that you don't want something available for too long, because then it takes away fault. Again. Yeah, it takes away from the value. Like you want something to be, you want something to have been accessible, and then that's it. You move on to new things. And
but also
if you wanted
because it sustains the new market. That's important to acknowledge. It's true that it's good for the value of the old stuff, but the maintaining of the new market is also fundamental.
Well, yeah, you got to make room. You have to make room for new stuff to come out, and you don't want people to be wasting all their time rewatching Cowboy Bebop for the 100th time when they could be going and watching that new thing you made that no one wants to watch called Samurai Champloo. And
you don't like Champloo?
Samurai Champloo is so boring. It's such a boring anime. It has the same problem that Cowboy Bebop does, which is like, cool, I showed up to watch 2 episodes. Okay, thanks for doing it, I guess. The rest of it's all like just dumb little filler content that doesn't really sometimes does something for characters, but more often than not doesn't actually matter to the overarching story and the character development of the important people. It's just a lot of.
That was my experience as well.
Point.
Which that is the point.
I think
but
most people prefer the non. In fact, I don't know. At least I actually preferred most of the non-continuity storytelling over the actual like through lines, or at least. Boy, I don't care about Spike's story. I like Spike in all the other episodes. I don't care about any of Spike's backstory episodes that are like actively the work. Like Vicious is a shitty character and Julie is boring. And I said that on Twitter and you agreed. And then a bunch of weird random people started yelling at me that don't follow me on Twitter. But they're like fucking Cowboy Bebop stans that have their fucking image documents ready to defend those exact characters, because they spammed so many messages at me that had like video evidence and pictures and annotations and shit, and I just blocked them without responding or even even reading through it. But I'm like, oh my fucking god, you don't understand, they're actually a complex character, she has agency. Shut the I don't care. She's in 10 minutes of the show and she's boring. I don't care if she's technically has agency or some shit like that. She's not a good character. And she definitely gets fridged. And it's also another thing of like, oh, this woman is my motivation for my entire life. And I'm like, okay. Can we get back to Faye's story, which is really interesting?
But see, I had the problem, like, well, I don't know. And again, I don't mind non-linear stuff. Like, I like Mushishi and I like Kino's Journey. Like, both of those are just, hey, welcome to the episode.
I just can't get over the fact that in Mushishi, the protagonist is like our protagonist from Final Fantasy 14, where just events happen in front of them and they just sit there and do nothing. And then they're like, all right, bye. On to the next episode. Like, do anything. Aren't you the main character?
No. I mean, but that's the premise. Mushishi isn't about him doing anything. It's about him keeping information. His idea is he's like historically logging a lot of stuff that's happening, and he does do stuff. He'll like say, hey, I wouldn't recommend doing that because that's going to cause this.
I think
problem.
the show also had a tendency
is.
to practically pre-declare what was going to happen before it happened.
Yes.
Like it explains the legend basically, and then the legend just happens, and you're like, oh, the thing they said was going to happen happened, and the protagonist watched.
Yeah,
like,
I think it's
a weird show.
Yeah, it's more of just like just kind of, again, it's just like pushing culture or some kind of thing. It's fine. It's not a big deal. It's just you have to want that kind of content. But the point I'm trying to make is that I think specifically, I really don't like Cowboy Bebop or Samurai Champloo or I don't know what type of genre this is, but it's the same, like it's episodic but very, very devoid of anything. Like I felt like Cowboy Bebop was a setting, and then someone showed up and was like, that's cool, but are there people in here? And they're like, oh god, people live in this setting. There's these people that live in this. Like someone made this really interesting, fun world to be in, like this retro futurism world, and then like just kind of had to like throw people in here later to make it filled out. Like, what is the Titan War? No one ever explains this. It's just a war that happened on Titan. Just
yeah. Well, it's one of those narratives where like they have like a thought out sequence of things that happened at some point. But like that's not the story of the show. It's like that's just like it's like one of those shows that makes you ask larger questions about what the setting, but like that's not really the point.
But like I guess my annoyance with especially with Cowboy Bebop is that there's a lot of things that are relevant to the development of a character that never get addressed. And it's not like the Clone Wars and Star Wars where it's like, oh, that's the Clone Wars, we fought in that, and you just move on from it and you're like
in the Clone Wars.
Yeah. You're like, okay, whatever.
I sure
Grandpa.
hope we don't base an entire trilogy on this someday.
Yeah, but like Cowboy Bebop specifically like is about like Spike and Vicious and about their like kind of chemistry they got going on there, where they don't want to like kill each other, but they like to tickle each other every time they meet on a planet. And they like, but like the past of Vicious is really important to what shapes him to being the person that he is now.
Hey, you want to do a dramatic church window pose?
And yeah, exactly. But like they never sit down and talk about him at all. They just like he just shows up, and a side character has to be like, I remember Vicious when we were young in space, and it's like I don't just tell me about Vicious. Like, come on, man, stop this shit.
That's interesting. I never thought about that, but that's a good point.
Am I?
This
might be really embarrassing because maybe I just like blacked out for a moment or something. But am I insane, or is there an episode where they're falling to the earth and they might burn out, and then the episode just ends, and then the next episode just starts the next story and like doesn't finish?
Yeah, that happens.
Okay,
yeah.
I was like,
yeah,
I kept meaning to check again. Like, did I somehow not finish the episode? Like, what happened? It's like they're just like, whatever happens, happens, and then the episode ends, and I'm like, oh man, cliffhanger, which they do a few times, but not that often. And then it's like next episode is like, so anyway, this is what Ed's up to or whatever. And I'm like, wait, and then Spike's just there, and you're like, wait, what happened though? Am I having that Walking Dead moment where we accidentally start in the second half of the episode?
I don't remember that.
And I think it's a cold open.
Yeah, I don't recall that.
It's the episode where they break out.
Did that a lot,
they broke out the old timey space rocket, like NASA rocket, and save Spike because he's like, well, I guess I'm gonna die, because it's like, go ahead and drink my booze. Here's where my stash is, because I'm not cutting out of this one. And then they're like, actually, you're gonna get out of this one. But then they're fucked afterwards. Like, oh, actually, maybe we're not gonna get out of this one. And then the episode ends. I'm like, wait.
Yeah, I think there's another episode. I think there's like the technically, what's it called? The thing in the fridge episode is the same way. It's the same premise where everyone gets hurt. The
episode seemingly ends with everybody maybe on the verge of death, and then it doesn't resolve it, and then it just ends, and you're like, wait.
Yeah, they like Spike throws the fridge out, but then like it doesn't really address like Ed eats it, and it never really addresses like is everyone okay though? Like
because they were like, it seemed like they were all gonna die of it.
Pretty much everybody but Ed got bit, and so it was like, Are our heroes okay? And then we just move on. Next episode. Like, okay, all right. It's And so that's why I don't really like that personally. That's why I really don't like Cowboy Bebop. I don't like this weird. It just feels so fractured. It feels just like it was like all of the character stuff was really rushed out the door, and it just I don't know. It's not as interesting as I would like.
There's limitations you run into in certain ways when you're dealing with an entire cast of characters who run on apathy, and like specifically they're all like, I'm only in this for myself. I don't care about other people and stuff. And so it's like it does there's like a comedy to it, but it's also a bit frustrating dealing with an entire cast of characters where none of them know the story of each other, and then when they learn the story of themselves, none of them care, and you're like, all right. So like you'll have a big character moment where this character learns this or that, like, oh, and that's how he lost his arm, and it actually, oh my god, this thing happened, and oh fuck, and then all these revelations, and then like he never talks to any of his crewmates about it, and none of them find out, and none of them pay a pivotal moment in his story, and it never comes up again, and you're like, all right guys, and like at the very end it's like, oh, we actually do care about each other, and it's actually fucked up, we're all gonna like be separating, and maybe I'll be dead soon, and so on, and but like they spent the whole show just actively not giving a fuck about anything, in like not even like a playful like friction sort of way, but just actively ignoring anything. I guess it's just an accurate portrayal of an American family, because they don't know anything about what's going on in each other's lives.
And they're always betraying one another.
They'd be terrible at getting each other Christmas presents.
I think you're right. Yeah, I think they would be really bad at getting Christmas gifts for each other. It's funny because there's this long stretch of, I guess if you play like the 7 Degrees of Kevin Bacon, there's a series called Michiko and Hatchin, which is what I wanted Cowboy Bebop to be, which is like a really fun story of people just going through, basically like going through an area. They're going through what you can call it a world, if you will. It's just they're just going through South America, but it's a really well thought out like country, like I guess in the anime, it's a really well thought out country. Where they're going through, like you meet characters and environments, and all of it really feels good. But the story itself isn't like overly complex. It's not something you can really jump in and kind of understand what's going on really quickly, and you don't need to like, oh, I wasn't here to find out about the Clone Wars. Oh no, all the context
whatever
is gone.
Will I do?
Yeah, like I guess I have to watch season 1 and read the light novel at the same time while also crying. And the
that doesn't sound good.
But this is like the show is directed by someone who did episode direction on Samurai Champloo, and so there's like this. I didn't like Samurai Champloo, but somebody used that series as their kicking point to go and make a series I did like, and it's always funny because like there's a lot of that in anime where there's a lot of stuff that I didn't like. And it turns out to like that's the
why a thing
selling
you
point
like existed.
Yeah, that's like why a thing I like exists, is because they had this weird jumping off point to go to. And it's I don't know, it's really fun. Like once you start going, there's like this point with I think all media. I believe all media that's not book related tends to be like this, because books are really upfront about who makes stuff. But like television and movies tend to be really subtle about who's making stuff until like the very end, or if you're like really really paying attention, like on the small little credit sequence in the beginning of an episode. But when you start getting more detailed and you start finding, like looking at things and going, I really like that, who did that thing, and you start finding out these backstories of people, like directors and the storyboarders and stuff, and you're like, oh, I can really see like the progress. I can see like the linear trajectory you took in your career to go from like some piece of shit garbage that I don't know how got made, and then you're like making some magnum opus. And I want to say, like, I think Cowboy Bebop has, I'm trying to remember who it was on Cowboy Bebop, but there was someone on Cowboy Bebop that had the same kind of trajectory. Oh, it was what is it?
I don't know.
Yeah, it was. Sorry, it was. I think is it the same guy who did? No, what did he do on? Sorry, what did he do on this?
Keith, do you know?
I don't understand what the question is.
Oh, sorry.
I don't know either.
He like started at a thought, so like, there wasn't enough to
Sorry.
investigate.
I got confused here because I thought I had understood something. I think maybe Wikipedia's wrong.
Oh, he's looking at Wikipedia. That's what it is.
I think something was wrong here because he's not. Oh, he was a music producer. So that's what it was. So the guy who directed Cowboy Bebop, which I didn't like Cowboy Bebop, but he later did. He was the musical director for Michiko and Hatchin. So the music in it is amazing. It's so good, but and the story is really good. But the only way it could have happened is if two things I didn't like existed. Like, it would have never happened if not for Cowboy Bebop being successful and Samurai Champloo being successul. And then like two people from those series went off to make something that I actually did end
Wolf's
up liking.
Rain.
No. No. But
it's sad she died, but there was recently a headline that made me realize that the Cowboy Bebop was co-written by the creator of Wolf's Rain. And I'm like, oh, I would have never grouped those things together.
I've never watched Wolf's Rain. I have no idea.
That's good.
What
Keep
if
that
a
up.
bunch of wolves turned into sexy boys and they just had drama?
Is that
That's
the one
a
with
really that's a really
Is that the
weird
famous
way to-
one?
That's
Is
just
that the
the,
famous
that's
one?
the premise of the show. It's just
I don't know if that's just the famous one. There's a lot of famous werewolves.
Yeah, because
Well,
there's a. I
Well,
don't remember.
they're not werewolves though. They just shift
I
back and
know,
forth in
they're
between
just-
wolves and humans.
They're
I
just
think that- and I
Animorphs
think that-
kids.
I'm trying to remember. I think they're just always wolves. I think the humans are like not real. Like they're just an expression for us, basically. I don't remember. I don't think they even shapeshift. I think they just are wolves and they're represented as humans sometimes for the sake of the audience or something. But I could be wrong. I think it might be like when he played like, what's it, like Hatoful Boyfriend, and like all of those birds are supposed to be people, but they're represented as birds or something. Maybe. I don't know. There's definitely some
I
anime
think you
where
might
it's
be.
like,
I
or
think you
some
might be
visual
right.
novel.
It's been a long time since I watched Wolf's Rain. I watched that when it came
Oh
out
yeah,
on
no,
Toonami.
that was like a seminal anime for me.
Yeah.
That's so long ago.
Let's see.
So it's like an early memory. It's like how I watched Dot Hack Sign, but nowadays all I remember of the entire anime is that conversation of them walking through the forest and Bear talking about drawing grids as a kid when he played RPGs.
Oh yeah, you are right. It is four wolves that are like just kind of four wolf boys that
It's
are
a
on their
wolf
way
pack,
to.
and there's like a fairy girl or something.
Yeah,
and-
so there's some kind of girl that they all want because she's like a key to paradise or something. And so then there's
primarily
like
I
this,
just remember having no idea what the ending was as a kid. I had absolutely
I don't
fucking
know.
no idea what happened in the story. The ending happened
know
and I'm
how
like,
to
I don't know what
describe-
this means. What happened?
I don't know how to describe this creature. There's like the antagonist is what I it's like some kind of terrifying monster. I don't even know its name. What is its name? Lord Darcia the Third. Like, what a name! I love it. Lord Darcia is just the perfect.
That is quite a name.
Oh my god, look at
Reminds
this
me of-
character. Sorry, I always do visual gags, but like this character is
Yeah.
stunning on all levels.
Fuck you,
Like,
podcast audiences.
sorry, people, but seriously, if you Google it, I'm not gonna tell you how to spell it, but if you Google it, it basically looks like something you'd see in like a Tim Burton movie, or some kind of what is it? Like one of those live action Jim Henson movies. It's just way over the top, unnecessary for like an anime about a bunch of wolf boys looking for paradise. They're just like, oh, I want to save a girl so I can be happy all day, and it's like whatever this thing comes up, it's like you're not getting in, wolf boys, and it's like, oh no, like
I'll get you next time, wolf boys.
Wolf's Rain's weird. I I don't understand its popularity because it wasn't some kind of like someone it wasn't
It's
like
because
Konami
they
going
think
like,
that the anime boys are attractive. That's the entire basis.
well,
That's
but it's weird because
that's
it's
the
not
premise
as
of the show, basically.
I guess
I get the
I
impression
just
as
don't.
well.
They've got like the good boy, they've got the bad boy, they've got the nerd kid, they've got I don't remember the roster very well. There's the guy
I mean,
that has the
sort of.
weird like open torso like leather vest jacket or something and
Of
a rat
course,
tail.
of course.
Yeah. They
Like,
have, so they have the
it's a lot
cool
of
guy. They
exposed
have
skin.
the like.
they got like the rock, like the main character looks like a rock band like member. I don't even know what the fuck the bad boy is supposed to look like, but he wears like leather and shit. And then there's like the innocent kid and stuff like that. There's a whole dynamic. It's like the Sailor Moon, but with their furries.
I mean, a little bit, but yeah, you have. So you
They're
have
a little
the.
bit furry, yeah.
you just linked a picture that looks like an album cover with how they're all posed.
So you
fucking
have the. You
fucking
have the
cloud of hair rock boy that has like a fucking like
Yeah.
both of his knees are ripped. All his ripped jeans in the 90s.
oh, it's great. It's very on brand for what it is. It's so you have your perfect archetypes. You have your nerdy boy, which is the you have the one with the light brown hair sticking up in kind of like a triangle shape. You have him. He's your little like nerdy sweet boy. You have your Shota, your small boy, which is the one next to him with the hair going over one eye. That's your little innocent boy. You have your bad dad, which is the one in leather, and he is clearly
Bad
the dad of the
dad.
group.
You're bad.
Yeah, he's
dad.
gonna
Wait,
keep
that's an
everyone-
archetype?
Yeah. You have the character who's like a father figure to all the other characters, but also he's like, you know, a tough guy. He's like a tough dad. He's like, no one's
Is he
gonna
like
mess with my
the
wolf boys.
great
It
teacher
all
Onizuka
graphs like directly
kind of
onto the.
archetype?
It all like graphs directly onto that shit where like the Warriors cats fan base will like draw the cats as humans and like come up with like what they would wear and what they would look like and shit. Except
Yeah.
it's canon because it is what the anime was just the human versions of the characters.
Yeah, and then you have the big long hair actual like loner bad boy. So the kind that like basically all the Sasuke fans love, where it's like, oh, look at this guy. There's no redeeming factors about him, but I really love him. Like, I have no idea why anybody likes this character type. He's in every anime, and he's the same character every time. But he's just.
Is he
I don't know.
pretty? Because that would be a reason.
Well, they're all pretty. I mean, they're all.
Oh, there we go.
That's
No, they're
they have to
full
be all
full
pretty.
boy band. These are the archetypes that you would have in a boy band
Yeah.
like setup.
But-
and still
But
do.
like, and it's not.
They still
but
do
this
that.
is like so. Here's another show. This is called Psychopaths. Look at that character. Kind of looks familiar, doesn't he? I wonder what his character type is.
yeah, they're just the same
like,
people
it's-
over and over again.
They have the same hairstyle. They have the same exact kind of personality style. It's
Yeah.
just it's not subtle. Anime isn't subtle about running into tropes. It just wants you to remember tropes exist, and they're
then
going to
buy
do it in
them
any
as
way
figures.
they can. Yes, buy them. And you can have every figure look the exact same, but from different anime series. So you can explain to all your friends that they're actually different
Yeah.
characters.
I'm
and your
just a
friends
really
kinda
big
shake
fan
their
of
head.
Lancers.
Well, that's right. Lancer is an
Yeah.
an archetype, right?
I
Yeah.
think Vegeta's a Lancer. So like and
Yeah,
since
Vegeta's
like
a Lancer.
Vegeta and Sasuke. So that person,
Yeah.
that's the Lancer. Kuwabara.
Kuwabara.
Honestly, Yu Yu Hakusho might be whoop soul Lancers. It might just be Yu Yu Hakusho. It might just be Yusuke and his 3 Lancer buddies. Or I don't know. Kuwabara and Hiei are both Lancers, I think, maybe. I don't know. Maybe not Fox Man, who's
all
Fox.
Lancers.
Whoops, all Lancers.
That sounds like
What
that
a-
could be the name of an anime.
What a great dating
I can't
sim.
understand what
Like,
I can't understand what my husband's talking about. Airing right after Whoops, all Lancers.
Yeah. I mean, they have.
What do we do when our entire RPG party is the same personality? But no, it's just part of the structure of how you structure a series of characters that interact, and you want to have meaning. You
Yeah.
want to have them meaningfully round each other out. So you have like the you have the cautious, like good-natured person, then you have the aggressive, competitive person, and you got like a stupid person, and you kind of like have like things you want because whenever you want a certain thing to happen, you got like you want to have like a character available that would be the person that would do that basically. So it all
Yeah.
like it's such an old storytelling type that if you listen to because who the fuck's gonna actually read it? If you listen to an explanation of what happens in what's it called, Journey to the West, you can see all of the archetypes in that party. You're like, oh,
yeah.
okay, yeah, it's just the exact same
Okay.
archetypes we use to this day when we're filling out a party of characters for any narrative. That's like, here's what everyone's role is going to be.
I mean, it can be kind of frustrating, but I think it obviously it serves its point, which is to very easily make the audience aware of a character. Like it kind of shortcuts you on needing to detail more out about a character, because you kind of get it immediately.
So you're like, oh, it's that guy.
Yeah.
Okay. And then you can have some fun with it if you directly subvert that idea.
Yeah, and it's like no one ever needed to explain
That's
to
what
you
Sonic Boom
who
likes to
Sasuke
do.
was. Sonic Boom.
Yeah, with like Knuckles, like, what? Just because I'm a meathead doesn't mean I'm not a feminist. Like they're specifically fucking with storytelling conventions on a regular basis, and all of like the viral Twitter like clips people share.
That's only because I don't think Sonic Boom
it's
had
always meta
Rouge in it, did it?
commentary.
Did Sonic Boom have Rouge in it? No, it didn't. That's exactly the only reason that Knuckles was a feminist in that
Sonic
one.
Boom have Rouge in it?
It did not. Without Rouge, Knuckles can be a feminist, but with Rouge, he can never be a feminist.
He's a patriarchal.
Because he will never
agent.
let her have a diamond, ever. He will never let her have a single piece of the emerald. He will always take it from her, no matter if she earns it by finding it before him. He always shows him, just nope, that's mine. Takes it back from her.
I mean, he
you
is the
can't do that.
guardian of the emeralds. I don't think this is feminism related.
Nope, he doesn't even ask for her help. When she's like, oh, here, I'll help you with getting the emerald. He's like, I don't want your help. I'll do it myself. It's like, okay, Knuckles is a little rude. She's offering here, like you saying she's not qualified to get the emerald pieces with you, because I think she stole more than you found so far, so I think she's better at this than you. It's like, I'm the guardian, I'll do it. It's like,
Rouge
okay,
is the
Knuckles,
bat?
little rude.
Yeah,
Rouge
look
the
it
bat.
up. Yeah.
Rouge is she is basically she basically exists to just she's like Catwoman in Batman. That's her entire archetype, is she just goes around and steals stuff from people because you know girl thieves are cool. I don't know. But
the femme fatale of the Sonic universe.
yeah. I mean, technically, Robotnik did hit on her in the anime. What's it called? In Sonic
did
X.
they do that?
Yeah, in
They
Sonic
have
X,
the-
Robotnik
my
made
God.
made a sexual comment about her.
Wow.
But it's fine. It's anime. That's what you
Well,
expect.
it's not like they don't sexualize her everywhere else. It's just that it's like.
I mean, they never sexualize characters on Sonic ever.
Sonic
No,
the Hedgehog,
have you looked at
confusing
her
children since
character design?
1996.
Yeah,
Confusing
but
children? What do you mean?
But Rouge
'Cause of-
Rouge exists as kind of like as a counter to Knuckles entirely. She's like,
Mm.
you know, she's basically like, I just like shiny gems and I'm gonna take all of them, and this one's pretty good. And I can find this one apparently because it's all over the place because Knuckles can't keep his shit together,
This is
so it
my
always breaks
entire
every fucking game.
personality.
Yeah, but I don't know. Oh yeah, he's gonna be in Knuckles is gonna be in the new Sonic movie. So maybe that Knuckles can be a feminist because Rouge probably won't be there. So great, look at that.
They're gonna make a
Character
new Sonic movie. Oh,
Yeah, Sonic movie 2.
Oh yeah, Sonic 2. I think the Sonic movie did well.
It did amazingly well. It did commercially successful. Well, I mean, granted, it started a pandemic,
commercially
but
successful.
it did a commercial.
Yeah.
It's successfulness.
Wow, a
It did.
successful
It was
commercial.
No, wait,
Huh?
the other way around. I
What?
missed. I missed.
No, it was commercial. It was commercially successful.
I was saying
The
it
first
on
stumbling block
purpose.
was Andrew making the most awkward possible sentence.
Yes,
and then
I
came your
fumbled it.
language barrier, and it just went wild from there. just
Either way,
burned the whole forest down.
the Sonic movie was a success, and it also started the pandemic in the United States. So,
Should have
Did
watched
it start or did-
should have watched
or
Birds
did
of
it
Prey.
precede?
so technically, once the doors started shuttering and the lockdowns began, all that was left were advertisements for Sonic the movie, which meant that if we as a society had died off from this
Oh my
pandemic,
God.
all that would have remained of us would have been Sonic advertisements.
There is
And
totally
honestly,
like that fucking like end of the world thing where you have everything get wiped out. and then all that's left is whatever everybody was obsessed with that week. Like it's just plastered all over society.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And it would have just been Sonic, and aliens would have found our corpses and a lot of Sonic memorabilia, and
Sonic
kind of
as
been
far
confused.
as the eye can see.
That would have been great, honestly. I think that would be. I hope that when humanity dies off completely, it like we just have a bunch of Sonic stuff around. Like that's all that aliens find about us is just Sonic, and they have to like piece together. Like, were the humans like all? Did they all look like Robotnik? Like, is that why they liked it? Is like,
And who invented the
know-
emerald?
yeah.
The emeralds?
What is the emerald represent? Is that
They
the
must be their
planet
religion.
Earth? Is
Is
that
this,
like
this hedgehog?
Was
Yeah.
it this Elon
Which doesn't
Elon
look like a
Musk?
hedgehog.
Get it? Because of the emerald mine? I didn't. It's bad.
Commentary.
I mean, there's a lot of unpleasantness about the emerald and the fact that Knuckles is the keeper of it, and that Knuckles' people are apparently a tribal race.
Tribal
there's a lot of
race?
yeah, the enchiladas.
Enchiladas?
are,
They're called enchiladas.
No.
no, they're
Oh.
You can't play these. You can't do these things to Colonel. He'll just
I don't
leave
know.
you.
I only played Sonic 1 through
sorry.
Knuckles, so I don't know
so
any
they're
of the story.
Knuckles is an echidna.
Yeah.
And the
Which is a
echidna
weird
race.
monster.
It is yeah,
They're
it is kind of a
real.
weird creature.
It's a
They're
real
real,
monster.
and don't
Yeah.
Google them. They're kind of weird looking.
They're
But
weird, yeah.
anyways, they also don't have gloves, fist, Lego shoes, so they're not
They're
cool
weird.
anyways.
Yeah, Knuckle.
But yeah, so his race of echidna people that were. Did Sonic 2 say they were like wiped out? I don't know what happened to his people. They're gone. All right, none of them exist no more. It's just Knuckles
No.
alone sitting there. Anyways,
But
Knuckles
they're
is
alive
alone.
in Sonic
the last-
Adventure.
Are they?
Yeah.
No, that's what I'm saying. In Sonic Adventure 2, you go to the past, but I believe they get wiped out like by a
Oh
meteorite.
yeah, they
or
kind of all
something.
get
I
wiped
don't-
out. But aren't you chasing a
Yeah.
girl Knuckles the whole game?
No, you're chasing Rouge.
No, not like competitively. You're like trying to save her or find her. I think.
Oh, I don't remember. It maybe it Sonic Adventure 2 Girl Knuckles? Like, was it a Girl Knuckles? I don't remember that.
Show me the girl Knuckles.
Oh yeah. There's the right. There's the brown one. She's like brownish color, and her
Like orangey
echidna
brown
things have-
tan, and she
Yeah,
has like
and she has,
she's
like-
covered in markings because they tried to code them that way.
Oh, I
yeah,
remember.
Yeah,
There's
they're
still a lot of
coded.
questions of
picture
like,
of her.
is Knuckles black or is Knuckles indigenous?
He is technically.
Oh, I
It's-
looked up
'cause
girl
if I remember-
Knuckles. That is not what,
Girl
no.
Knuckles.
No, that's
Girls
not
do
the
have
right
Knuckles.
thing.
Very good.
No, it's the
Girls do
well.
have Knuckles.
That is not.
You
what,
did it, Colonel. You figured it
I
out.
found-
We are equal.
I found the DeviantArt.
Yeah, no.
This conversation.
I forget her name. Crap. Why can't I remember her name? No, it's like slipping past. Every time I think more about it, it's going
Sandwich.
away. No, stop.
Sandwich.
What's wrong with you?
So their ship
Do you
name
know
is
some people
Knuckles
say
Sandwich.
Well, they're all named after stupid crap anyway, so it's really hard. Like, I can't tell if you're lying or not because it may be her name.
Sandwich?
One of
No.
them's named like
I
no,
just
one of
made
them's
that
named
up.
Cookie or Cream.
Yeah,
one of
cookies and
them's named-
cream.
Yeah, Cookies and Cream is like the name of a pear.
It's like,
It's like
yeah,
wait,
it's like,
cookies and cream
it's
is
like
a
a,
thing? Oh,
it's like
no.
a rabbit and her pet or something. I think are cookies
Yeah.
and cream.
it's
or
a
something
rabbit
along
and a
those
chow.
lines.
Yeah.
It's a silly universe. It's like how it's like how those two characters in Mega Man are named Rock and Roll.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, that's just dumb translation stuff. No, this isn't helping me. Okay, so I don't think she was a character in the current time. She was basically like the spirit of the Emerald. And Knuckles is like trying to put her back together or whatever. She's put
Maybe.
back the thing together. Or no, that was sorry, that was Sonic Adventure 1, right?
So
God, what this lore is awful.
Wow.
Anyways, so there's what's it called? So I don't know. What was I saying? Oh yeah, anyways, at the end of the world I hope that there's nothing but Sonic memorabilia. And I think now that there's a new Sonic movie and it has Knuckles in it, maybe this will be the case because maybe the second one will sell so good that we just can't stop. We can't leave Sonic ever.
Sonic is such a weird phenomenon for me. Yesterday we were talking, I think it was yesterday or the day before, we were talking about how Sonic isn't about going fast through the levels for me. Because
fight, kill.
Yeah,
kill.
it was basically an offhand comment, and I know obviously I'm wrong because that's not how the games were designed or marketed, but specifically marketed. They were never marketed for exploration. But me, I had a Sega Saturn, and I had Sonic Jam for the Sega Saturn, which included Sonic 1, 2, 3, and Sonic and Knuckles, which is a pretty good collection. And I played that thing over and over again, and so I knew the levels inside and out. I knew the things all over, and I only knew it because I explored everything, and that was fun for me as a kid. But obviously, I didn't have a Nintendo to play a Mario 64, which was at the time that I was playing Sonic 1, 2, and 3 a lot better for exploration, admittedly.
I just remember it a lot. Like the thing I spent the most time in Sonic games for the Genesis were the bonus stages. Spent a lot of time trying to get good and beat those bonus stages because those were actually like that was the hard part of the game. That's where the game really and it also mattered because I think you had to get all the Chaos Emeralds to like beat the game.
That's how you finish the game. Yeah, it's also half the game. Like if you play it well, it's half the playthrough is bonus stages.
Man,
which is
it's funny
weird,
too because
there's no fun bonus stages in Sonic.
I agree.
No, you don't think so?
They're miserable. I hate
I think
all of them.
I think the half pipe one's pretty fun. I like when you're running straight onto a half pipe and you're just moving left and right. I think that's pretty fun to do.
But it's
that's probably the
shot.
best one. The worst one's probably the
that is probably the best one,
like fever dream horror.
No one likes the pinball fever dream thing
Whatever
where it's like
the
just
fuck that
it's
thing
turning. Yeah, it's
Oh no! Wait, do you mean the globe
Nobody likes it. Nobody
or the
likes
rotating one?
I mean there's like a fucking like visualization background and there's a grid of globes.
Oh yeah,
and it slowly wobbles left and right a bit, and you have to like jump through it as a ball and try to find a goal that you can't even tell where it is most of the time. But also like if you're not tapped into the fucking like gamer culture or whatever and have any context for this stuff, you're like, Sonic's incomprehensible. Like,
why is this happening?
I went most of my childhood, probably all of my childhood, not even knowing what the mini games were for. All I know is the game got worse randomly between every level for no reason. Like I didn't know why were doing this to me. Well, I just don't know. I just knew I wanted them to stop.
I know. I like even after these many years, I know the sound effects by heart. Like I can hear them in my brain.
I love that. I love that you. Why did it get worse? What happened? I was just playing a fun game where I just ran from one side of the screen to the other.
Between every
and
level,
now
there's just a really shitty mini game where you can't seem to earn anything that would matter, and you don't know why it's happening. And it just does it to you, and you're like, stop.
Experiencing games in English as a Portuguese-speaking kid kind of trains you to not having any idea what's going on. So maybe I was a little bit immunized towards or from that.
Joke's on you. I was raised on not understanding video games.
Yeah. It's very true, though.
I had that problem in the very early days of like anime when I couldn't get subtitles for stuff. Because like sometimes I download something off Livewire and it just didn't have subtitles and you're screwed. You're not going to spend like another... Yeah, but you're not going to spend a week downloading a new file. It's too much. So you just have to watch that episode without subtitles and kind of like.
And we didn't have SRTs. We didn't have SRTs and whatnot.
Yeah,
do we still use SRTs?
Like I can open up. It's not like I can open up a VLC player and just go online and download someone's like fan subs or whatever because this is still like too early.
Just try some jelly donuts.
Yeah, basically.
That sounds good.
But your brain just kind of has to like put together like what's happening and kind of assume. Like, I think I know what's happening. I hear some words I think I've heard a lot before, so it's probably...
Daijoubu. That's it. That's half the...
Someone's okay. That's all that matters, right? Everyone's okay.
Or asking if they're okay.
What's it called? I actually had this problem when I watched Avatar for the first time. So when I watched the Avatar movie, I didn't want to go to theaters and watch it because I wasn't going to waste money on something I knew I wasn't going to like. and so I downloaded it. So I just like downloaded instead, but I got a Russian version and I didn't realize I did that. So instead of re-downloading it, I was like, look, I'm not going to waste my time. It's not that important. I'll just watch it in Russian. How hard could it be to understand? And it was impressive how little you actually needed words to understand the movie. Like I had no one said, I couldn't understand anything anybody said, but I immediately understood, oh, okay, so it's just a bunch of people want to like take over this native land. Oh, they want to break down the tree, right? Because it's probably like rich in some kind of resource or on top of a resource they need. Oh, okay, that's what they're. Okay, cool. All right, pretty easy to figure out here, I guess. Like, oh no, he must have pissed them off because now he's like going off to be alone. So he must have like they figured out he was a human. And like it just, it's so easy to like understand Avatar without any context of language.
We've talked about Avatar before, but like it baffles me that people at the time, not since then, because since then, everybody makes their own opinions. It's fine. But at the time, everybody acted as if it was the must see movie, and it was weird to me. It was. There were other 3D movies since then, including Saw 3D or before.
Not like that. That movie was like built from the ground up to be a 3D experience, like the kind you would see at like a theme park or something. It was. If
you're not looking for it, it's such a gimmick, though. If you're not looking for it, it's like any other movie.
Well, yeah, you've cracked the code that your average movie-going audience is kind of boring.
Yeah,
because everybody acted as if, oh, it's the must. First off, it's awful. It's an awful movie. But besides being awful, why do you think it would be good? It's actually, wait a minute. Isn't it from Spielberg or somebody like that?
It's from.
It's that guy. Terminator movies.
Ridley Scott.
No.
Not Ridley Scott.
Is it not Ridley Scott?
From Cameron. There you go.
James Cameron. There
it's from, that might be the reason. Yeah.
It's from James Cameron, the guy who did Titanic, which is also a unique masterpiece. No one's ever told a story like that before.
No, Titanic is kind of okay.
More notably, Aliens and Terminator.
That's Ridley Scott.
No.
Yeah.
Ridley Scott made Alien.
Oh, he made Alien, right? James Cameron made Aliens. You're right.
Yep. And Terminator.
That's why they got
mess. What a fucking mess.
Terminator is a good movie, though.
I think more people like Aliens than Alien, honestly.
Yeah, I think so as well.
That's because they wanted action. They didn't want suspense.
Yeah, exactly.
Aliens
that's why they want Avatar.
Yeah.
They're just not very interesting.
I guess.
You gotta remember.
I just would argue
baseline. Like you want anime, FMA, Cowboy Bebop, One Piece. Can't get weird with it.
I don't think you want One Piece. That's
One Piece is very popular,
but it's too long.
It's
no
been
one
very
wants
popular
that.
for an eternity.
Well, that's because it's a good story.
It's not because
Spice and Wolf. Spice and Wolf is the anime I was thinking of when you mentioned Wolf.
The thing I like is popular. It's because it's good, and not because it's just really popular for tapping into what people like without much deeper need.
It really like. I don't think average people are going to jump into One Piece and be like, oh yeah, this is going to be a fun time. Like you can't just jump in now and be like, oh cool. It's too long now. I'm saying like the reason it's so popular is because people are invested in the story and they've been sticking with it this long. But like Cowboy Bebop or Full Metal Alchemist, you can kind of easily jump in or recommend it to someone. I can't recommend anybody to watch One Piece. That's like a death sentence. Here you go. Here's something you'll watch till you're dead, and you're like, oh okay, thanks. I'll get around to that.
Maybe longer.
I mean, I don't.
You'll never outlive this anime.
You just reminded me that the Bleach anime is coming back.
Yeah. No, I was thinking about that earlier because we were talking about Berserk, and I was thinking about how funny it is that, like, Berserk's always like partially adapted. Like the first adaptation it ever did skipped the entire intro storyline, I think, and then then it just did the Golden Age. And then it ended like right when the eclipse was starting, I think, without showing the eclipse outcome. And then it showed nothing after the eclipse.
It was called the Golden Age. Like it specifically up front told you it was only going to be the Golden Age arc.
Was it? Isn't that just the Berserk? I think the movies were the Golden Age specifically. Like the
yeah,
movies,
the
were
movies were
advertised
golden
as,
age. The
yeah, but before that there was an
original,
anime adaptation that was also the golden age. So they keep adapting the golden
the
age.
80s.
And then finally the
The
most
80s
recent
adaptation
anime came out, and that anime was like, we're just gonna skip the entire golden age. And we're like, okay, thank you, finally. Then we're gonna skip the next 7 storylines also. We're like, what? Like it skips so deep into it that I'm just now getting to that part of the manga, I think. Like it skips to like when the full like RPG party has been formed, basically, like, which is like you're like 70% of the way through the story by the time that happens, I think. And they're like, we're gonna start the anime there.
What's it called?
I think that's where the 3D one
Are you talking about
started.
the 3D one?
Yeah, I think it just straight up like skipped several storylines that had never been adapted by any of the other storylines either, and they're like, well, fuck those parts. they're never
sort of. Yeah, it starts. It skips a little. It skips a teensy bit, but it does start pretty generally in the beginning.
Well, I think previously the entire post Eclipse storyline, or even the Eclipse itself, like none of the stuff that happens after the Eclipse had been covered at all by any of the adaptations, as far as I know. And then this one was like, we're going to skip so far that it's literally like you're like twice as far as you were as the Eclipse, basically. Like the first several storylines are completely skipped. You meeting the nightmare masochist lady, that's skipped. The entire storyline with like the disciples and all the creepy religious figures that a lot of Dark Souls is based on, that's all skipped. They just like skip all the way to like, hey, a witch girl, and that's so deep into the story. That's like
but
because I'm just getting there, so that's like volume like 24.
I thought 2016 started. It started a little bit behind that. I thought it started at the.
I think it skips the entire religious tower storyline.
No, it doesn't. It does not do that. I know. I know for a fact.
Does he even?
You're talking about season 2. There's 2 seasons to that anime.
Does he even meet Puck on camera?
Yes.
In the anime, yeah. I mean the manga.
Yes. Oh, in the manga, yeah, he does. He meets him at a bar. That's how he meets Puck.
I'm trying to remember when that happened now. It's a weird story to cover because it's not linear to begin with.
No, so
the manga opens with a post-eclipse storyline, and you're like, oh, who's this bad guy Griffith, and so on. And then it's like, so anyway, we're gonna spend the next like 10 years telling the story leading up to this point.
So the first season of that 3D anime starts basically it starts with him meeting Puck, and then like heavily skips. Skips a lot to where he's already going to the religious arc. So you're right, it does skip a lot. It skips a bunch in the beginning. It just goes straight to like, here's how Guts met Puck, which is like that is canon. He meets him in a bar, saves him, and the stupid fucking little kid sees him do that and gets excited about him and wants to go hang out and follow him.
Stupid fucking little kid.
Yeah, it's like basically
for somebody who doesn't know the story.
Dude, half of Guts' party is like children. It's weird. I don't understand it.
It's Japanese fiction.
I mean, I've read his other manga, and I have additional questions about Kentaro Miura at this point.
Look, I'm not gonna go into that, but
the fuck is going on, dude? You know what I'm talking about, right? Did you read it? Did you read Gigantomaxia? Because what the fuck, bro? Why is there a little girl that pees on you? Like, why is that?
Oh no!
Why is that happening? She's like either an angel or an android. It's unclear. She seems vaguely non-human in her behaviors, and she just keeps like getting upskirted, and she like has like nectar
and peeing
that she pees out of herself, basically. And she's like, I'll hydrate you through the desert by peeing on your head or whatever. It's like, no, thank you.
No,
like, and it's like, why is this a recurring thing throughout the story? And it's like, you read the rest of the story, and none of the rest of it requires that part. Like, but it keeps happening throughout the entire volume, and it's like a single volume story that just ends. Like, it weirdly seems like the opening of a story that he just didn't feel like going with or something, because it looks like the beginning of an adventure and not the end of a story, but
I don't
just a
think
weird
there was
amount
an
of
option
like
for him to continue that story.
There's just a weird amount of like prepubescent girl pee stuff going on, and I'm like, why? Like there's a part where he wakes up from like getting wounded and like she nursed him back to health and she's just standing over his head. And I'm like, no, why?
Yeah.
From the creator of Berserk, this nightmare.
Yeah. Look, it's fine. It's fine.
Is it though?
It's fine. It's fine. It's the future. The things. It's 100 million years in the future, guys. All right. Maybe there's different
it's
rules
it's a
about the world.
post apocalypse.
Yeah, it's like very post. There's a lot of post-it notes of apocalypse that happened here. It's a weird series, and I think I definitely think he just. I don't know. It's hard to tell. Like I can't really tell if he tries to like go into a shock factor. You know, like if some of his stuff is more there to get a reaction out of people, or if it's like genuinely something he likes to draw. Well, because like you can argue Berserk has kind of Berserk has kind of the same problem. Sorry, no, it's like Berserk kind of has the same issue where like after the first couple of attempted rapes, you kind of go like, okay, this seems to be like a pretty common thing you're doing here. Like, do you want this to happen? Are you trying to make this happen? Like, why do you keep doing this? Are you just trying to shock me, or are you trying to like?
I mean, there's definitely a way of drawing it that indicates that it's supposed to be for the audience's titillation on some level.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's like there's like weird aspects to it that make you think
Berserk
like, okay,
this.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's like boobs out. And like the first thing that happens is the top always gets ripped off. And you're like, okay.
Yeah.
And there's usually some kind of like monster penis like thing happening. And you're like, okay.
Oh, I see.
And a lot of it happens to Casca, both before and after her mind is in states. And you're just like, okay, here we go again. No, like there's literally a famous there's a famous one-off character that's not even really a character, but that's called a Rape Horse. That people just refer to by that name.
You've talked about it.
Yeah, and specifically that character has a boss based on them in Bloodborne. Like, and you're like, oh, wow! I'm learning it's like the best boss in Bloodborne, like all of Bloodborne. Like it's one of the most involved, most difficult, and most interesting boss fights in all of Bloodborne. And its source material
but it's also rape
just a distressing thing from Berserk. That's like, oh. And yeah, there's like a reoccurring shot of like woman with top torn off laying on her back while like a looming phallic shadow is coming at her. And you're like, well that's what's happening. And that's happened to multiple characters, and it's just a lot.
I mean, I don't read Berserk, so it's difficult for me to judge, but I think it could be that it isn't, just because she has her top turn off, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's for titillation. There are some examples where it is.
It's just always concerning when you insert like male gaze kind of stuff where it's like, this is what a guy would want to see, and you're like, okay, well, I guess the difference between like how a main character is raped in Watchmen the comic, and then Zack Snyder was like, I'm gonna film this scene and it's gonna focus on how hot she is, and it's like, no, Zack Snyder, that's not the point of this scene. You're not supposed to be showing us like a male gaze that's supposed to like agree with the comedian. Like this is supposed to be a horrible
with the
scene.
Comedian or the rapist. What do you mean? Wait,
no,
what?
That's the comedian. Yeah.
Oh, the comedian. Okay.
That's his name, unfortunately.
No, I think he's played like Jeffrey Dean Morgan, wasn't he? The guy from Supernatural and Walking Dead. He's the guy with the bat. It took me a while to recognize that. I'm like, why the fuck do I know this actor? It's like, he's the rapist from Watchmen. Oh no.
Oh crap.
It's
I forget his name in Supernatural. Bobby, I believe.
He was the dad in Supernatural.
Oh, was he the dad?
He was the main character's family dad. Yeah.
Oh, then he's not the one I was thinking.
Yeah, no, he's in around, and I guess they're trying to make a prequel. I think they're trying to make a prequel spin-off of Supernatural for the parents. So it's going to have Jeffrey Dean Morgan in it again. And it's like, that's weird because he's definitely way older than he was in the beginning of Supernatural.
Wow, they stretch Supernatural beyond recognition to all points
he
imaginable.
looks like a little baby in season 1 of Supernatural. When I've seen with that, because Grimbeard's reviewing the whole show, and I'm like, I don't think the guy I've seen in Walking Dead can pull off being that guy, but younger. he's looking a lot older these days. Granted,
it's all right.
Walking Dead makes you look pretty old. Like, everyone's ragged in that show, but like,
yeah,
it's not a good sign all around.
Yeah, he can do it. It's fine. My problem is that it's what stories do you have to tell that you haven't told already and 3 times over?
Oh no, you just keep looping forever.
They loop. That's the thing. Oh.
Yup.
Well, it's it's kind of like I one of the reasons why I don't have Netflix is because I first off I'm sort of weary of or wary rather of the subscription model. So I want to, if I get Netflix, I'll get it in a place in my life where I'm gonna watch a bunch of things and then just make the best out of my subscription. But I think the biggest reason is that they cancel a bunch of their stuff all the time. But well, they didn't cancel Supernatural or CBS. Who made?
Yeah, I was gonna say that's the CW.
Yeah. But the thing is, like, I also complain about the fact that they went, not that I mean, sure, whatever. It doesn't matter to me that they continued Supernatural or whatever. But there's some series that is just they need to make new stuff, but not like Netflix does new stuff. New stuff like, Breaking Bad. Just make Breaking Bad in many times, or Better Call Saul or something. Like, how many seasons is Better Call Saul?
That's also a different channel.
Yeah, I know. It's all different. I mean, the channels lose all meaning here.
I mean, CW makes
in
other
Portugal.
stuff in the meantime. Like, they made the 100, which had a terrible ending, but up to then was pretty all right. But they also make 500 superhero shows these days. Like, they have, there's the CW DCEU, like, where they had, it started with Arrow. I guess they called it the Arrowverse because it started with Arrow, which was Green Arrow. And then they had Flash, the only good show, Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, and Batgirl, I think, recently, or Batwoman, or whichever one it is. And I think they're adding one that's just like, it's just this lady's name, and I've never heard it before, so I don't remember it. But there's like a whole
this lady's name.
Yeah, it's just like her name is just her name, and I'm like, okay, it just sounds like a person's name, and I don't know and I can't tell if it's a real superhero that existed already or one that they made up for, and it's just like the show, and then maybe not even part of the like universe or whatever. Like, I have my own criticisms of that whole fucking mess, because like the fucking CW, like Arrowverse, is only watchable, it's only comprehensible to a lot of the time if you watch literally all of the shows, which is too many shows, and they're very wildly in quality. It used to be at first that when Flash was made, once a year there'd be a crossover event where Arrow and Flash would have a crossover storyline. So Green Arrow and Flash would have to deal with the crisis together. And the way they would deal with that is that the episode would be split 50-50 between the two shows. So you had to watch it on Arrow first and then on Flash second, which makes sense if you're watching it on TV, because they literally air back to back, like the two shows. So they would literally, you'd go from one show to the other, but it'd be the same storyline with continuity, despite being two different shows, which is a neat trick for real TV. It's horrible for streaming. So when you're watching Flash and only Flash, you'll randomly hit an episode that's like picking up halfway through a storyline and you don't have the context for it. But what gets really messy is when they start adding Supergirl and these other worlds in, and you're like, oh fuck, now it's like a fucking like now the once a year event is like a fucking 4-hour long thing where you have to like chase the storyline across multiple shows. And it kept letting the really frustrating things were like the best villain that was the most charismatic kind of like anti-hero, like I'm the bad guy but not like that much of a bad guy, like the I guess like almost like the equivalent of like Catwoman or something, where it's like they're not that bad, so you don't have to really fully stop them as much as the world ending crises that are always happening, and they like maybe they'll kind of team up and once a season on accident or whatever, because like this thing's bad enough that we gotta band together even though we hate each other, like that kind of villain. like watching the Flash, like, oh, I like this guy, and then you'd be happy when he shows up again. And then one day randomly just hear that he died, and you're like, what? I didn't see that. Yeah, he died in like some other show. What? And then like the whole fucking show is about like this back and forth of like, oh man, are they gonna get married? Like these it has like this fucking like Rachel and Ross thing going on where it's like, oh, it's these two characters, like, are they love interests? Like, oh man, are they ever gonna get together? Like after seasons and seasons of build up, what's gonna happen? And like fucking out of nowhere, you're like, oh yeah, they got married on another show. You're like, what? Because it was like in their heads, they're like, oh, we'll get married during like the big event, like the Avengers Endgame of CW, basically. But the end result is that they get married on like Supergirl or something, and I'm like, I'm not fucking watching Supergirl. I don't know what the fuck's happening in Supergirl. And I watched one episode of Supergirl, and I just couldn't take it. I don't like this at all. And I watched like 3 episodes of Legends of Tomorrow, and I'm like, no, this is pretty bad. And you can't save it by having Captain Cold and Rory from Doctor Who in it. Like, that's not enough for me. I hate all these characters. And then fucking Arrow, I think I made 2 seasons into Arrow, but it's just an unwatchable show. It's just so self-serious and so frustrating and stupid. And it's like Flash is the only watchable.
But it's so badly written for how serious it is.
Flash is legit the only watchable thing in this entire thing, and it's partly because they have the 2 nerd characters that have the exact same dynamic as the couple from Agents of Shield, and like you just want to watch them most of the time. But they're worse. Agents of Shield has a better everything than the Flash still, but it's flat. It's Shield adjacent, which is not the most glowing praise. That's why Flash is watchable. There's a lot of season 1 shit in particular that I was tearing my hair out because this guy's supposed to be a speedster. This whole thing is how fast he is, and he kept having moments where he would just kind of stand still and get hit by something, and I'm like, you just let that guy get away, or you just let that guy do that. And I'm like, you could just use your one thing you do. What this like. And it's like, it's a storytelling problem because it's an overpowered power. Like whenever they show up in like X-Men or something, it's like, hey, here's Quicksilver for 3 seconds. Okay, he's bye, he's gone. He can't be in the rest of the episode because he'll ruin the movie.
Otherwise he breaks things. Yeah.
Yeah. But like having a whole show about the speedster leads to a lot of really frustrating moments where like, just do the speedy thing and then your problem gone. Jesus.
That works a lot better in comic books rather than,
like,
than
I'm just
TV.
gonna watch Agents of Shield.
I like the idea that you're sitting there watching like the Flash, and he's like, "What am I gonna do? Just run!
Yeah.
That's the only fucking power you have. Use it. Just run anywhere. You can just take a guy and run with him really fast and throw him into the sun. I don't care. Just run." Like
that sort of attitude towards characters is very much my experience seeing you guys deal with 999.
Like
so
Agents of Shield's not incredible, but oh my god, like it's just so much better than these other shows.
I think
by
there's
a wide margin. It just has good characters.
There's something unique about I don't know. To me, I think there's something unique about superhero shows where you have to really be in a specific mindset to be entertained by them. And I just don't get it. I don't ever find myself sitting down and going like, oh, okay. I mean, it has to be the same mindset that
it's like that certain
shonen.
popcorny silly thing that the whole genre has, but it's like closer to the comics and that it has like a long narrative instead of being like, hey, over the course of a whole decade, I'll get to spend 6 hours with Captain America and that's it, which is what the movie version. Like it's a really slow narrative to watch the movie versions of these characters. Like the shows can do more with them, but you have to have a really good cast. Like, what is it? One of the final seasons of Shield had a ship in a bottle episode that was just Fitz and Simmons, which is the characters I was talking about earlier that kind of carry a lot of the show. And it was so strong as just a standalone like character thing for them and their dynamic and so on that I showed it to Stephanie without any context of the rest of the show, and she enjoyed it because it was just like a short film essentially. Like, and it's you can't usually do that to like a season 5 episode of a show that has continuity. Like it's all happening because like there's like they're like, and it's the silliest premise ever where they're being interrogated by aliens that want to like mine this secret out of them that will further their plans. But the end result is that the 2 of them are stuck in a weird mind prison where like they can't escape because they can't physically move their bodies because they're literally just only aware of this other like matrix like place, but like they're being forced to like confront each other and things that they haven't been dealing with and so on. And also like when one of them like one of them like mentally regresses or something like that or retreats, they literally do it by like turning into the child version of themselves and escaping to like their childhood room. And like there's like all these dynamics you got to deal with of like trying to get them to confront them and like these like really innate ways they don't want to confront these things. And it's like, this is just storytelling. This Flash fucking Arrow would never do this.
Arrow's
like, my second, third cousin that's also rich that we thought was dead is actually a superhero now.
Oh yeah,
fucking hate Arrow so much.
Yeah.
Damn. I kind of feel like there's something
Batman.
inherently off-putting about
it is shitty
He
Batman.
is shitty Batman.
That's a very good point.
Especially
It's
the
the same
show. The
context,
show,
yeah.
even more than like I don't know the source material. The show is shitty Batman. It wants to be Batman.
Yeah.
They're like, we can't get the rights to
what a
Batman.
goal.
We can't get the rights to do a Batman show, but we can get Green Arrow. Let's just make him Batman.
Is that why the actor acts like that? Because the actor is so dry.
It's just Batman. That's the whole goal of that show is to be Batman.
That makes total sense. Like that was the first impression when I started watching. I was like, why is he such a bad actor?
It's also like
And
why
I'm
it's
like-
really funny when you watch like fucking Gotham and they're like, we have the rights to Gotham and like the setting and a lot of it, but we can't use Batman and we can't use the Joker. So they're like, well, we have Kid Bruce Wayne and we have like we have the not Joker. He's this redheaded guy that has like, you know, an iconic laugh and like maybe he's pale.
They don't even use.
like,
they tend to not use even the names of the.
they bring back the not Joker every season. It gets so
Like even
frustrating.
the Penguin, for example, doesn't go by Penguin a whole lot.
No,
They-
well, he
they
goes by
shy away
Oswald
from the names.
Cobblepot, which is his real name, and some people call
Yeah, I was
him
gonna say,
Penguin
he just
because
has
it's like
a real
It's like
name.
his crime name or whatever. But he's called Cobblepot in the comics usually, I think too.
Yeah.
I think he might be called Penguin sometimes by Bruce, but a lot of the time, like he just is a real person in that universe. He doesn't really, of all the characters there are, he especially does not go by like a pseudonym as like his like day to day. As far as I'm aware, I think he just is a known crime lord as known by that name. He's also like that is one of the they do fun stuff with those characters, like the what is it? I didn't like Catgirl very much. Catwoman. She's Catgirl at that point basically because she's Bruce's age. But one of the most watchable things about that show was the Riddler and Cobblepot in their like pre-Batman era setup and everything. And like Cobblepot was brought in by he was a pretty fun actor to play that character and all that, and that all worked. But very, very strange. I think that was also a CW show, and you can tell because there's like extreme queer baiting. Like extreme, like B-Stars level of queer baiting between Riddler and Penguin, where like almost every season has a storyline about them maybe falling in love with each other and them teasing that idea, and then it's almost never explicitly stated, but the camera is just like completely sold on the idea of selling that idea, and like specifically like you can tell Penguin is obviously jealous when Riddler's in any kind of relationship with a woman and things like that, and to the point where like they're like lovers destroying each other in the final seasons, and that's basically the setup for the characters as a concept in Batman. And you're just like, what
They're
the
just-
fuck? What are
They're
you,
just really good friends.
CW?
all right?
What are
They
you
just wanna-
doing? They're just
They just
really
want
good
each other.
friends.
They're just really good friends.
God,
Yeah,
if
they
I,
just help
if I
each
ever
other
finish
out
the
when-
B-Stars video, that's going to be the comments. I'm just going to be like, you fucking, what the fuck? You people are insane. You know who's really good friends? Jack. Jack is Legoshi's real good friend. You know how Legoshi and Louis act?
I don't know, Jack.
These motherfuckers
I need to
are
watch
like,
B-Stars.
These motherfuckers see those two examples and are like, that's the same picture. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? The weirdest thing about watching all the furry animes on Netflix is that one fucking voice actor is in all of them. is Haida is played by the same guy that plays Jack, is played by the same guy that plays the main character in BNA, or the dude in BNA, the wolf. And I'm like, what the fuck? He's everywhere. And in this one, he's doing a Batman voice for some reason. Because he's supposed to be so cool and serious in BNA. So he's doing like the Batman gruff voice. But I'm like, that's Haida. You can't trick me. I've watched this guy be exclusively a loser for like 6 seasons of television. You can't be like, and now I'm the cool wolf man. It's like, this isn't working.
That is,
he is the cool wolf man.
It's Ben Diskin.
Yeah, Ben Diskin. He is basically the son of Joel. It looks like it.
The son of Joel.
Remember Joel from Rooster Teeth?
Oh, yeah.
He looks almost like I think
he just looks
he
like
looks
that.
like they look like literally related. It's kind of weird.
Maybe they are. Maybe he's also
maybe
weirdly
they are.
into like conspiracies and gold.
Oh no.
I think everyone's into gold. I think they just don't care about the investment angle of gold. Like,
oh
gold
man,
did.
remember when Joel being unhinged was slightly fun and not creepy and weird? How it became, where he's like, actually, Black
Which
Lives
one's which?
Matters is wrong and stuff.
Oof.
Joel does not work at Rooster Teeth anymore, and given the many distressing things he was saying in the later years, I'm like, I wonder why.
Oh, they
That's
never explicitly said why he doesn't work there anymore.
No, I think they just stopped hiring him because I think he was basically a voice actor at that point and wasn't doing much else. But like, I imagine
Yeah, he
they
wasn't
had
like part of the company proper.
No, they probably had to discontinue Caboose. I think.
Oh, yeah, I didn't think
Modern
about that,
Rooster Teeth.
probably.
I think Modern Reservoirs Blue. They just made a new show basically.
That's
Like, they
probably for the best, honestly. I imagine most of those
Yeah.
like original characters have lives and things to do now. They can't just be like, I don't
Oh,
know.
yeah.
At some point, it seems kind of like, what am I doing here? Why am I
I think
playing the
Tucker's
same
played by
character for
someone
like
named
20 years?
Jason or something, and it's like you only hear about them in the context of making Red vs. Blue. Like half the voices. That show got soft rebooted like 4 times in its like 16 season run or whatever it had. But I think the newest one is just an
16
entirely new cast of characters.
So much.
It's a
Seems
long
like
it's
so
a
much.
long time. They're just very much. I think that they're just in the attitude of like, we'll keep making it if people keep watching it. We'll just make it for fucking ever. So have
That's
fun
the
with
joke,
have fun
but
with the idea of
still,
ever
like-
having a satisfying ending to Ruby. Get ready
Well,
for
I don't
Ruby
think
season
Ruby-
17. No, Ruby's already.
I don't think you're gonna get
Ruby was bad out the
Ruby.
gate.
Ruby is
yeah,
still
but
going.
I don't think you're. Well, yeah, it's still going.
Oh my
it
god.
it has to keep going. They've invested a lot of money into this. It's like their only original IP.
Oh.
Yeah, they're trying to make new ones. There was like that. I think there was like a mech show that had that guy that came up in the Sexiest Man Alive Jackbox challenge.
There
I have no
was a
idea.
lot of them, Keith. They were.
He played because he was in Black Panther. Jordan, Michael something. Is it Michael something Jordan? Is there like a middle name that separates him from Michael Jordan?
Michael B. Jordan.
Is it Michael B. Jordan? Is that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know that-
think
yeah,
I
well-
think he's like they got him just like how they got Elijah Wood for Red vs. Blue. There's just like
Yeah, Michael B.
we
Michael
got
B. Jordan
celebrity.
is the Michael B. Jordan's the actor,
yeah.
and Michael Jordan is the basketball player. Yeah,
Yeah.
I guess you can count him as an actor for fucking Space Jam, but not really.
Come on,
Space Jam is a very good movie, better than Avatar.
Warner Brothers thought
Uh,
enough to make a sequel about it, so yeah, I guess. But the
I know, all,
But
of
yeah,
the,
Jordan-
all of the Ready Player
Michael
One
B.
style things just make me sad. We made a 5,000 thing crossover. Wow.
modern media makes me
Like-
sad.
Can we not? Can we tell us like it's like we don't need to tell a story on its own merits because we got the iconography of your childhood. We're just gonna keep throwing these in front of your face. Wow, Ready Player One has Tracer in it. Don't you want to watch Tracer? Find her in
Does
the
it?
crowd.
Does it have Tracer? Did they get the rights for
yeah,
that?
I remember. Well, yeah. I mean, I think people just are like, yeah, let's get in this movie. Because like advertising,
Wow.
basically, it's all product placement. Like, it's probably what funds
Yeah.
the movie. But the yeah, it's just crowd shots and like the Spaceman The original Space Jam was already a lot like that, but the Space Jam 2 was literally just like entire crowds, like Ready Player One, where it's just random IPs just thrown around everywhere for no reason, no narrative relevance. But it's like, wow, remember Thing, Clockwork Orange in a children's movie.
Yeah, I think I only watched Space Jam 1 like when I was a kid, so
Let's be honest here.
I was joking when I said
What's his face would definitely watch a basketball game between cartoon characters. I think he was definitely not in his right mind enough to think that this would be a fun thing to do. Yeah, the guy from Clockwork Orange. I don't remember his name. What was his name? I don't remember the stupid the guy's name. The guy watched the baby's head turn around and vomit or something. Whatever. What was his name?
Oh, he's not in Clockwork Orange. That's Obi-Wan Kenobi's actor.
Oh, I thought that was.
Yeah.
I thought he was in Clockwork Orange. What was he?
No, the guy from Clockwork Orange. God, I think he's dead. But he was he was the villain in Star Trek Generations. He's been a
Malcolm McDowell.
Yeah, Malcolm McDowell. He's been around for fucking ever.
Oh yeah, he is dead.
Yeah,
he was in Westworld too. That's right. He was the creator guy in Westworld.
No.
What? Is he not?
You're wrong about everything.
Is he not?
No,
I thought he was.
That's the guy that's the guy that played Hannibal Lecter. I'm really good at remembering actual characters' names and no actors' names today.
I thought this guy was the guy that played Hannibal Lecter.
No, Malcolm McDowell's been
they
a
all
lot
look
of
the
stuff.
same? What the hell?
They don't look the same.
Yeah, they do.
They just look old. They look like
they just look old.
Look, I can't tell a difference between old people. That's kind of like they lost that chance. That's what the whole youth was for. They
lost that chance. Those are not particularly similar looking people.
I think they are.
No.
What did you say his name was? What was his name?
I just said he's played Hannibal. I don't remember his name.
Oh. God damn it! Now I gotta look up. Not the real Hannibal.
Hannibal Lecter Lux.
Yeah, not the sexy Hannibal.
No, wait.
The other
Hannibal. There's been two sexy Hannibals now.
Because like Anthony Hopkins plays a sexy Hannibal, which I don't like. I don't even like anything about what I just said as a sentence.
Anthony Hopkins plays sexy Hannibal. No, Anthony Hopkins plays the real Hannibal. That's his name. That's Anthony Hopkins.
Oh, that's the name of Hannibal. Okay, sorry. I thought that was
Anthony Hopkins is the real Hannibal actor. That's the good movies, not Hannibal Rising or the TV show.
Sorry,
that
I meant Mads Mikkelsen. Mads Mikkelsen is the guy who plays the sexy Hannibal Lecter.
That's the better sexy Hannibal versus the Hannibal Rising. The other one's Hannibal Rising.
Is there a better sexy
He's
Hannibal?
Better than Hannibal Rising. That movie's really bad. The prequel.
You do realize that both can be bad.
He's like a twink.
Like, there doesn't have to be a sexy Hannibal. We could just both.
Mads Mikkelsen elevates literally all material he's in, including Death Stranding.
Except for Hannibal. Where guess what? Spoiler alert, not a cool guy. Doesn't make it cooler because a cool guy plays him. That's not how this works. You can't make a cool guy cool. You can't make a bad person cool just because you make a cool guy play him. Hannibal Rising. What a fucking dumb name.
Hannibal Rising is bad. That's the one I said is bad. That's not the good one. He's in the TV show.
I'm saying what a stupid name for a show.
Yeah.
He's in the one just called Hannibal because it's easy. You don't have to no pretense.
Why is it called Hannibal? It's like Dark Knight Rising?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Except it was earlier than that.
Well, it's a prequel movie. So
they set it up as
rises.
They set it up as in this movie, this bad person is not going to be defeated.
Yeah, because he's the protagonist.
Oh.
Yeah, no, he's the protagonist in Hannibal Rising. Like, so he's a bad guy that eats people, but there's even worse people, and it's like this is how he went off the edge and became a people eater.
I don't know, man. I'm looking at a picture.
I can see why that would be
the
a bad
tastiest part and all that shit. I remember seeing that.
I'm looking at it side by side
theaters.
of Anthony Hopkins and Malcolm McDowell. It's really hard to notice the difference between them. I think you're lying. I think they're the same people.
Well, one of
just
them's
different
alive
stage
and
names.
one of them's not, so it's a lot easier these days.
That doesn't mean anything anymore. Everyone's CGI people. I don't know who's real anymore. It's fine.
That's what I said about Avatar. The gimmick.
Oh, there it is. This is really like this, they could just be the same people at different stages of life. Look at that. How am I supposed to tell a difference anymore? You kidding me? All these old people just merging together. There you go. Look at that. They're the exact same person. I can't tell the difference.
Well, one of them's got the big bulgy nose, and the other one's got dead eyes.
That's
Anthony
just 'cause he's
Hopkins always
dead.
has dead. No, he's not. It's Anthony Hopkins. Anthony Hopkins has the really dead eyes.
They both have big bulgy noses. I didn't even know which one you were talking about when you made that comment.
No.
This is very good content for the podcast. It's just a picture
just
of
imagine
Anthony
two old people
Hopkins.
that are slightly different.
One of them is Anthony
imagine
Hopkins,
two
and the
old
other
people
one.
that are basically the exact same. They play
Yeah.
the exact same type of roles in movies. And
The difference is
TV.
no one knows what
and-
Anthony Hopkins looked like when he was young, because none of the roles they remember was him being young. Whereas Malcolm McDowell was in Clockwork Orange. He was Mr. Bad Boy, the bad boy whomst was bad, and he did a rape, and because that word's just coming up a lot today. Great, and he and
I'm
the
sorry.
boys, and he had this weird like
He and the
eyelash.
boys.
He had his weird eyelash tattoo paint thing around his eye from the cover of The Thing that everyone remembers, and then they hold his eyes open, and then he's like, "Oh no, I hate everything now," and then the movie ends.
I am looking at pictures of Anthony Hopkins young, and he looks like every other actor except Anthony Hopkins. Like every picture is just some other actor. I'm like, oh, that's that one. Oh, that's that one. Even the actor that plays Rory from Doctor Who is here somewhere.
What the
It's
fuck?
just pictures of Anthony Hopkins.
I appreciate the
you
fact
mean
that
like you're
Anthony
seeing
Hopkins
you're seeing a
apparently
picture of Anthony Hopkins that you think looks like Rory, or it is Rory?
No. It's I think it looks like Rory.
Like
'Cause it's Anthony Hopkins.
Young Anthony Hopkins was just a real chameleon. Just can't
Yeah,
even
he
tell
looks
what you're
like
looking at.
every other person.
It's really
Real
funny.
lizard man confirmed.
He's also kind of scary, a little.
I don't know. I just
That's his job a lot of the time.
I thought the two looked very similar. Who was it? What movie was that? There was a movie coming out soon that has my favorite grandpa.
My favorite God, fucking you mean
Yes.
Candyman?
Yeah, you know exactly who I'm talking about. The guy from Fringe.
Fringe.
The old man. Yeah, the
Yeah.
old man from Fringe.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's the guy.
McKellen?
He's the guy that's menacingly eating like fucking plums or whatever
Yeah.
at the end of Return
Yeah.
of the King.
Yeah, that guy.
Oh.
Yeah, that guy. Yeah,
That's not Ian
he is my
McKellen, then.
favorite. He's, my favorite
he's the
grandpa.
steward of Minas Tirith.
Yeah, I don't remember.
He has a good. What kind of name was? What did you just say? The steward of Minotaurith?
Of Minas Tirith. That's the name
Yeah.
of the city in Return of the King, and he was like the steward or whatever. He wasn't the king. If I
No, he
remember
was the
correctly.
steward.
Oh wait, no, maybe he was the king. No, the Two
No,
Towers
steward.
was
I think
it was the steward.
It's the steward, yes.
He was.
You're correct.
His name was Denthor, steward of Gondor.
Denethor.
Yeah, okay, yeah,
Uh,
Denethor. He was the guy who had the two kids, and one of them was dead already, and the other one was like, "It should have been you. You should have been the dead one."
Boromir and Faramir.
He's not a great guy.
Well,
You can tell because they had grossly zoomed
he's-
in on him eating fruit.
he's done dirty. He's done dirty by the movies because he's just corrupted by
What, his
Sauron.
villain feast.
He's done.
John-
You think they did dirty on him with that?
He
he's
was a
literally
wise.
That's like
he was a
same
wise-
visual language they use for Gollum.
Yeah, but like in the books, he's portrayed as wise and like he's part of the reason why Gandalf was capable of figuring out that Bilbo had the One Ring, because he helped him out and gave him access to all the scripts and whatnot. The thing is, he has the Palantir, or that Seeing Stone that Saruman has as well, and Sauron just is like, "Oh, I'm gonna corrupt your face," and then he does.
His name is John Noble.
John
John
Noble, that's the
Noble.
one.
That's his name.
What a name.
What a name.
With a K.
Right? What a
John
name.
Noble with a K.
He
That
is,
would be.
by the way, he's in Cowboy Bebop.
the
Unfortunately,
The new one
that was
or the
kinda-
anime?
The new
For-
one, the live action.
I didn't.
oh
They
God.
canceled it already. Speaking of
They
which,
canceled it like 2 weeks after it came out. Like they couldn't wait.
no,
What?
it's like, oh, it's terrible. Screw this.
Wait, what? They canceled it?
They canceled the second season.
Yeah. The live action Bebop was canceled immediately after it came out.
Why did you even release it? Why the hell did you even
Because
put it out in the world?
The
You had
money
you had
the
a
money
chance.
was sunk.
If you
I thought
you
they would have
had a
waited
chance
longer so
here.
that people would watch it, thinking that they'd have follow up. Because once you say you canceled it,
even-
then people are like, "Well, fuck it, I'm not gonna bother."
it's not even
Yeah.
getting a second season. Are you
I know.
kidding me?
I thought they would. I thought they would not. I thought they would not cancel it until the Blu-rays were available or something, so they could make money off of it. Maybe somebody that works there just hates it. Like, just was like, just has like maybe somebody important at Netflix has just hated this project for a while now. But like, we got to release it to make our money back, at least kind of. But fuck this project, because it very much felt like when they can't. Like it was the abruptness of like it reminded me of when they canceled all the Marvel shows on Netflix. But specifically, they canceled all of them. They canceled all of them while Jessica Jones season 2 was still on the horizon, and so we're just sitting there waiting, like, when's Jessica Jones 2 going to come out? And like maybe we're still sort of holding hope, like maybe they'll just keep this one show because it's the only good one. And no, like a week after it came out, they're like, and that one's canceled. It's like you couldn't do this like cleanly in a way where like you could announce them all at once, because like you end up just watching season 2 of Punisher and season 2 of Jessica Jones with just like a fucking like sort of Damocles hanging overhead of like, how invested should I be getting? Like, are we gonna get to keep any of this show? Like, what's gonna happen?
No invested. No Netflix for me.
Jessica
Never
Jones is
invested.
really
Although
good.
this was Amazon,
I'm sad.
right? This is Amazon that we're talking about in this particular.
No. This
No.
is
No,
still
it was
Netflix.
Netflix as
No
well?
no one ever mentioned Amazon.
No,
Yeah,
because
no, this is
I
still
thought it was
Netflix.
Amazon. The Cowboy Bebop. No, okay,
Nope,
so
that was
yeah.
100% Netflix.
That's just
I watched
reinforcement of my.
I watched
Oh, I
all
said
of
they're
Cowboy
current.
Bebop the anime, and then I ordered the movie online because that's just a whole other project to get in. And then I watched one episode of the Netflix show, and I'm like, yeah, this. I watch some relatively bad shows sometimes, but there was literally nothing to latch on to, not a single likable character, and it was just a story I'd already seen told worse. Like, it was just so much. Like, I remember being, even though it was a really short episode, being kind of gripped by what was happening in the first episode of the anime, with like the fake pregnancy and the eye drug, and like these like really unnerving scenes when the drug is used, and also like you kind of like are hoping like, oh my, is she gonna get out of this? Like, because you're kind of hoping that she can survive this scenario, and so you're like, what's gonna happen? And watching the fucking live action, like there's like no one is charismatic in this entire show. Like, I don't like a single character. I don't care what's gonna happen to them. I don't want to see another episode of them. I wasn't like sad when the characters died in the opening episode like they do in the anime. Then I'm just like, I don't want. I'm like, it's over finally. Thank God.
Yeah.
I didn't want to get through the
Slowly
first
pushing
episode.
them underwater.
It was just, yeah. I'm just like, it was rough. It was really rough. I don't know.
Like I said, I finished it. I watched all. I finished the entire thing.
Don't do that.
I did. I have to, because see, I have the mentality that I have to. Yeah, I have the mentality that you can't truly hate something until you know it inside and out.
I remember this.
Um,
You mentioned
it.
it before.
Yeah, it's so I hate it. I despise it. It is a subpar quality content that should probably have just been killed on the whoever was shouted up, raise their hands like, well, we made Cowboy Bebop live action. Push them off the chair. Be done with it. Be over. It's like, all right, that's it. That was a good recommendation.
It's
for
weird
getting
because
fired.
the movie or the show already feels weirdly live action adjacent with its like tone and like groundedness for a lot of it, and like the characters' behavior and so on. Like, it feels like it would be relatively natural to turn into a show, except Ed.
Do you think so?
Yeah.
I don't know
Well,
what the
yeah,
fuck-
because Spike
I don't know.
feels.
Ed is fucking weird, but like the main three characters being converted to live action seems so easy.
But
the
also
show
Ed is like,
the show is miserable, and also it's like they were embarrassed, so they made the whole show was trying to be like wacky and tongue-in-cheek and not take itself seriously and not be but like not in the way that Cowboy Bebop is, but like in a way that was like, I can't believe it felt like early X-Men making fun of the X-Men costumes, like what you expect yellow spandex. Like, it feels like the show was just making fun of Cowboy Bebop essentially by existing. It's like,
That sucks.
what I shouldn't be drinking, says the fake pregnant woman. It's like, No, that's like the first booby scene in the anime. Is she like leans? She like just leans down and just starts drinking out of the beer, even though she's like massively pregnant in the anime. And then they do the fucking they do the titty camera angle, but it's specifically like it's like, oh wait, what's going on here? She's smoking and drinking, isn't she pregnant? And it's like set up for the fact that she's not. But the fucking show is like, I'm smarter and I'm gonna make a meta joke about how like I shouldn't. What do you think I'm gonna drink? I'm pregnant.
Oh,
like you think you're better than the source material show? Is that what you're doing?
But that undercuts the whole.
Yeah, that was a flaw.
Thorough line
Cowboy Bebop's a show of flaws. It's never done anything proper. That's why no one likes it.
It's like it's almost like they think it's a genuine mistake that she was drinking and smoking despite pretending to be pregnant. When it's like, no, that was on
that's
purpose.
the point. That's the theme. That's the blasé-ness of the whole thing.
Yeah.
She's not pretending to be pregnant for the bar. She's pretending to be pregnant for like people thinking that she's smuggling.
That's it's Faye, right?
Yeah. No, it's not Faye. It's the
it's not Faye.
It's the character in the first episode that dies.
Yeah.
Oh, the one that died. Okay.
Yeah, she's got this.
It's been a while.
Because she looks pregnant, but her entire belly is full of the drug that you shoot in your eye. It's like red, and turns you into a Hulk monster.
Yeah, I always felt I watched Cowboy Bebop, I believe twice, all the way through, and especially the first time. The second time, not so much, but that was mostly on me. I got the impression that it's a show of vibes. He just tries to set the mood.
It's a hangout.
Yeah.
Well, it's not like it's a show of success because they literally never fucking succeed at anything they do.
For huge stretches of the show, they don't know.
I'm not talking about the live action. I'm talking about the anime.
Yeah, the anime. They don't succeed ever. Like,
pretty consistently. They do succeed only off camera, basically.
You either start the episode and they're coming out of a police station being like, wow, can't we believe we made $100 off that? Or you like
it's always a train wreck. We're like, it's never good enough.
Yeah, or you see like
I think that's just that guy's shows. And then his shows are always about like freelancers or people that go from gig to gig or traveling together or something and kind of hate each other, and they're always starving.
I mean, there's a sense of because it's there's a sense of
like
fun
Dandy and
watching.
Shampoo.
Yeah,
look,
like
Japanese
people struggle.
cuisine. In Japanese cuisine, you're always starving anyway because it's all small portions.
That's definitely not true.
But the amount of rice, you're definitely getting filled.
But it looks like it's small. Asian cuisine is very filling.
This isn't the great. This is what's it called? Grave of the Fireflies.
Isn't French cuisine? Yeah.
People, there's food in Japan now. We all got food. We can.
There's food in Japan now.
No.
There's food in Japan now.
Japan has
they
finally
didn't have it
introduced
for a long time.
Food.
Oh yeah,
it was on the back burner. They were too busy building big skyscrapers. They forgot to build food. But
the thing with the vibes though is that I get the impression that it's just like more fun to animate and more fun to compose, to make to think up all the scenes, because you're not bound by anything. It's just like, what am I gonna do this week? I'm gonna do this zany thing that now
the thing with the vibes.
Yeah, it's just a different way. Like, I guess in a way it's similar to why horror movies are more fun to make for the production team, or maybe even the actors as well, because it's less detached, or it's more detached from what you're expected to do. If you're doing exposition, or if you're doing character, like the same characters over and over again, the same scenes and all that, it's just like gets routine from an animation standpoint. Obviously there's a point to making that, and you make good stories from that. But if you're an animator first, or if you're a visual storyteller first, I get maybe where the need to make comics, to make anime like that comes from. Because there's other things like for example, I haven't watched too many animes from back then, but the other one that stands out from the ones that I watched, because Cowboy Bebop is from 94, right? 95.
Yeah, I mean I think it was
it's old.
Mid 90s. I think it was mid 90s.
Yeah, it's mid 90s at most mid 90s. But if you look, there's a lot of the same.
So
it's a
into the
lot
90s.
newer.
Or no, so that was the manga. The anime was 90. No, also in 98. 98
Huh.
was the show.
I didn't watch it
So-
at the time, so yeah.
Into the 90s.
But Neon Genesis Evangelion is the same thing as well. There's a lot of vibes in the middle. There's a lot of I'm not gonna tell the story. I'm just gonna
I don't know.
chill out.
I don't know if I would say Neon Genesis is a vibe
Vibes.
anime. I mean,
No,
I
it's
get-
not.
It's
it's not
vibes
good-
in the
it's
same
not good
sense of like
vibes.
Berserk is also a vibe anime or vibe manga. Like
Yeah.
Berserk's all about vibes. You
It's
know,
bad- it's
those
bad vibes.
questionably like concerning vibes.
Vibes.
I mean, Neon
I don't know
Genesis
if I'm using
Evangelion
the
is
term
about
right.
like a lot of why it's important to raise a child.
Brooding.
Like,
Brooding would be the
like
word,
just
maybe.
please raise your kid so it doesn't have all of this like daddy issues, mother issues, friends issues.
Shut
paternal
up, Shang-Chi.
parent
Get in the
issues.
robot. Your dad loves you. Get in the robot.
I wish he did. The what was Evangelion? Evangelion was mid 90s. That was 95.
Yeah.
Because that was
But yeah, that's about as far back as I went watching anime. Although I did watch Dragon Ball, the original one, and Sailor Moon.
Dragon Ball's
but,
fun.
you know.
Sailor Moon's fun. Watch good. Another one is what is it called? Gunbuster. Gunbuster, I think is
Never heard of it even. I don't think. Yeah.
right. Gunbuster's 80s. 88. There you go. 1988.
If it
Gunbuster's
didn't get
fun
marketed,
one.
if it didn't get marketed here in Portugal in the 90s, then I didn't hear of it.
Oh yeah, no. Gunbuster was really. How would you describe Gunbuster?
Let me see if I recognize the
Gunbuster.
pictures.
Gunbuster, I think, is the who is it?
Oh, it's all one
what's
word.
that dumb guy's face? The guy who made a bunch
Oh,
of
it's like
really good
Gundam.
stuff that everybody likes. Oh yeah,
It's Gundam
Evangelion.
with
That's
even
that
more
dumb
fan
thing
service.
everybody likes. He's
Just going,
Wait,
we're just coming
uh,
after Evangelion right now.
so Gunbuster's the precursor to the directorial, or is the directorial debut for Hideki Anno, who's the guy who eventually goes on and creates Neon Genesis Evangelion. So
You're not
it's
talking
worth.
about Gurren Lagann?
No, not Gurren Lagann.
Oh, okay.
That's
Because I'm seeing
Different.
somebody that looks very much like Kamina in a Gunbuster movie somewhere. He has a star in his face.
Gunbuster was like pretty iconic. There's a lot
Yeah.
of good stuff in Gunbuster.
A lot of
what's his
fan
face?
service. I cannot find a picture where it's not just fan service.
Well, yeah, it's about it's so in the future, there are mechs and they must be piloted by high school girls
in spandex
and,
tight suits.
Well, you're not gonna wear jean pants piloting a mech in space. It seems a little inefficient.
Inefficient.
Why is it
obviously-
inefficient?
Well, because you don't want a bunch of loose clothing on you when you're trying to move your stupid mech suit. Obviously, guys, come on now.
Obviously.
Get on my level.
Come on.
But you want your
And
loose
so-
hair that gets in everywhere.
No, they
long
tie it
hair.
in. They tie it behind them. Obviously, come on now. The
And no, yeah, right.
and they got their knee high socks, and very important, keeps them warm because they don't have pants on. So see, all the bases are covered here. But the point is
At
less
least part
about
of
the
their
fact.
legs are covered. I don't know about all the bases.
The point is less about the fact of the concerning situation in which a lot of the characters find themselves in for both societal and other reasons, but it's more about the fact that Gunbuster does a pretty fun job of telling a story without being too I don't know, I would say it's not boring cliche. It's got that kind of fun cliche where you know what's going to happen, but but you still find motivation in the characters. Like, just because you know what's happening doesn't like, just because you know where things are going doesn't take away your enjoyment of the characters in particular and how they interact with each other. The ending is really good too. Like, it has a pretty stellar ending. It's unfortunately, like, afterwards there's a sequel to it which isn't made by the same guy.
And they ruined
it's
it.
not it's called the Die Buster, and it's not great. It's unfortunate. But yeah, basically the idea is Gunbuster's great. Watch Gunbuster. It's a great precursor to how you can see the mindset of Evangelion coming into fruition. Is this whole idea of like, let's make kids pilot mechs with horrible mental issues.
You can see
Like,
you can see the lead up to the show that hates you.
Yeah. Even Evangelion is very much
Evangelion doesn't hate you.
Evangelion fucking despises your existence. It thinks that you existing and breathing in the same space that Evangelion exists in is a mistake that we can never recover from. It's called a sin.
That?
Look up Cardinal Ones. The
Why do I say that?
Yeah.
No, it's just what Andrew always says. I haven't watched Evangelion.
Oh.
yeah,
I get frustrated
The
by the
most
fact that there's like there's just obviously there's just a lot of options and shit to get through, and it's just like, oh, when are you gonna get through all the things you're supposed to watch? Why haven't watched this yet? But like Evangelion, there's like several versions of it at this point, and it's like I don't fucking know which one to watch. Like Netflix, I think put out another retranslation and redub again, and it's like, and everyone fights over it, and I'm like, I don't know.
You've actually got to track down the 1997 DVDs in order to have the proper experience.
I don't watch dubs.
And then there's like 12 sequel movies or something.
Yeah, especially those.
It's not about dubs,
which are
it's
the
the
endings.
subtitles.
Yeah, like they
subtitles.
retranslate it
Yeah,
over and over again because they keep being like, we can't like a lot of the I don't know if it was true in this one's case, but there's often examples of like they pretended people weren't gay and stuff like that. When it's like we can't have American kids hear about gay people, so we're gonna lie about what's happening in the story in the subtitles.
Yeah.
It's great. Yeah. What is it? But no, the reason I say that is because there's near the end of Evangelion, while it was being made, one of the things that Hideki hated was that people were more focused on fighting over what girl Shinji was going to end up with, and they cared less about the context of the anime, which was kind of the whole point. Like he was trying to send a message with his anime, and people were like driveling it down to people having, stupid Twilight level wars of like, oh no, Shinji's gonna get with her instead. There's no one's gonna beat her. And he's like, oh, okay. Or
such a funny
alternatively speaking, what if Shinji didn't do that? And so it's like the ending of Evangelion is very spiteful towards the fans that were a little bit too excited.
Well, the second OVA introduces. I mean, the second OVA is a trip. First OVA is I don't like it.
You talking about the films?
Yeah, the films that supposedly end the storyline.
End of Evangelion. Rebirth.
No, not those. No, I mean the old ones.
Those are Are you talking about the? Are you talking about the
I forget the
actual
names.
show itself, or are you talking about the 1 to 3 .0 Evangelion movies?
Yeah, I'm talking about the actual show. So the actual show, as far as I remember, had OVAs after it came out. Death and Rebirth and the end of Evangelion.
You're talking about the revival of Evangelion.
So no, I'm talking about Death and Rebirth. So Death and Rebirth, I believe.
Sorry, there's Death and Rebirth and the end of Evangelion are both anime movies.
Yeah, so those are basically the end. They're like retellings of the end, right?
Correct. So there's two.
Didn't the original ending just
Evangelion
stop being animated and they're just like, fuck it.
Yes.
Slideshow.
That's why
sketches.
That's why you watch that episode, forget everything you watched it, and then watch the movies, and then realize that they're basically the same
actually
thing.
a style of his. Gunbuster does the same thing. What's it called?
They had a fire in the studio. That's not a style. They just didn't have time to finish
You don't know that. You don't know how much he planned.
No,
Not
I'm
the
pretty sure
slideshow
that was
portion, but the whole black and white thing, sketches. He did the same thing at the end of Gunbuster too. That was that's how he took the ending, was because it takes away from the fact that anime is this like big, colorful, like well written or like well drawn thing, and like the stupid tagline is like every frame is a piece of art.
Every frame a painting.
Yeah, whatever. And so, which is not true, by the way. I don't know if you've ever watched anime, but it's not true.
Pause it at any one
That's not
time.
about anime.
Well, no, there is the line that people say in anime about anime that it is you can stop any frame of anime and it's a piece of art. Like it's a well drawn, beautiful piece of art. And it's like that's not true because a lot of anime has like smear frames and really cheap, like poorly drawn background characters to like because you're not looking at them. There's just like anime cuts a lot of corners. It's not beautiful. But the idea is that taking away something from animation is always a like a jarring situation. So Gunbuster does this by taking away color, and when you take away color, it's like, oh my god, what? I bought a color TV. What happened? Where's the color?
I bought a color TV. What is this? The 17th?
And so
TV.
And so well, it's like anime at this at this point is like vibrant and great colors, and there's a lot of especially like Gunbuster has a lot of fun. Yeah, a bunch of fun stuff going on. So when it's suddenly like black and white, and you're like, what happened? Something's wrong.
The cable connection is busted. Only only analog.
But so what you're talking about is Evangelion has, again, because it's so great, Evangelion has two phases of anime movies. There is the revival of Evangelion, which includes Death and Rebirth and the end of Evangelion. Then it has the rebuild of Evangelion, which is the 1.0 to 3.0 plus 1.0 of Evangelion movies.
It was supposed to be 4.0 because I remember back in 2009 when I was like, I should watch these. But then I saw that they had plans to make 3 and 4, and I was like, I will wait until the 4th is out. Guess what? The 3rd came out in 2012 after delays. The 4th is actually not 4th, it's 3.0 plus 1.0, and it came out in 2021. So I'm still waiting for those.
Yes.
This is very confusing.
Yeah. Again, this sounds really awful because it is really awful, and it's just
and they're not even being very well received, are they? The movies, some of them. I saw that the second one was. Yeah,
I don't know. Whenever Andrew says anything about anime, the comments tell me he's wrong, and I don't know who to trust.
That's fine. I don't. I could be wrong because that's not how reality works, but it's fine. I don't look. I think a lot of people like Rebuild of Evangelion. I think because it reframes Evangelion a little bit better than the anime did, which obviously wasn't
Rebuild of Evangelion.
Yeah.
What is happening?
Yeah, it's called the Rebuild of Evangelion because it rebuilds Evangelion from the ground up. It adds a whole new character.
Oh, God. It's like when you retcon a new character into the fucking like dating sim that was there all along.
Yes. Yeah. So it was presented originally as an alternate retelling, but then it just kind of became like a whole new version of the show. So now like the idea was like, oh, I'm gonna, we're gonna change up the ending, and now it's like now we just change up the whole show, and you're like, it's not even Evangelion anymore, but sure,
it's
let's
a little
go
bit what they're doing with Final Fantasy 7, I should say.
Yeah.
With Final Fantasy, yeah.
I didn't even know this whole thing existed.
It's weird, yeah. I mean, I haven't watched any because I'm waiting for the 4th one so I can watch them all in a row and then be disappointed because probably. I mean, am I going to be disappointed?
Anime is, look,
not
anime
if you don't expect anything.
Don't expect anything.
Fair.
All I have to say is anime is just a mess. All right, it's not clean, it's not beautiful, and it never will be. The point you watch anime for is just pure entertainment. You're just there for the dumb things happening in front of your dumb face, and you going like, "Wowee, that was fun." And then
no
you
one
go
hates
back
anime
and,
like anime fans.
Why would you lie to yourself like that? That's all I'm saying.
I like a lot of anime, which is a weird. It sounds like it's weird that I'm the one defending anime, but
I've watched a lot of anime.
You're in too deep.
In my defense, I'm way too deep in this thing. I don't even know where I am right now. Let's see. We can quickly check.
I don't know where you are.
30 seconds.
What does that mean?
Yeah, where am I in life? I have seen 537 animes.
That's where you are in life.
That's where I am in life.
That is a lot.
My goal is I would like to, before the end of the year, which is not much, but I've been pushing really hard, I want to reach 200 days of anime watched in total.
Wait,
I-
you haven't reached
my
200
goal-
days?
No, I have not. You are very misunderstanding of how long anime is. Um,
Oh yeah, because
The,
of course it's 20 episodes each episode, of course, 20 minutes each
yeah,
episode.
yeah. It's
Of
only
course, of
30
course.
minutes at a time. If one's
Yeah,
anime
yeah.
series is often not even a whole day. It's only
Yeah. Makes sense.
So,
Makes sense.
so my goal in life is if before I die, I want to at least reach 365 days, a whole year. I could just literally watch anime from fucking start
you can do it.
start of time to the end of the end of a whole year.
You can do it.
I could do it. It's a lot of work. At 537, I'm not even at 200 yet. What am I going to reach? Like 1500? I would be dead. A skeleton man. Anime will kill me.
Skeleton
man?
You will have finally, you will have finally
Too much.
reached your destiny. The skeleton key.
I don't. Finally,
You can do it.
it's just. I don't know. I can't imagine. I can't imagine how you get the further you get deeper into anime, the more you're like, this is great. Everything's
Well,
great about this. It's
Yeah, that
a
is
good
a serious
starting
problem.
point is not to do the thing you do where you're like, I'm gonna watch the season, which is like the abyss. Like that's no one should ever be behaving that way. We're like, I'm gonna watch this season of anime. Like
how else
just
are you gonna know what is good
everything.
and what is bad? You'll never know.
No.
There's so much anime, Keith.
that's literally that's like if you react it that way to any other format of television, you'd be an insane person because you are an insane person for doing it with anime. Like that's just don't do that with any format of TV. It's not even a genre. Anime is not a genre. Like it doesn't make sense to watch all of it like it's related in some way.
I think you're.
Yeah.
I think you're going
And
about this.
and nobody
and-
deserves the hell of watching a fucking sports anime. That's just
Oh,
Wait,
pointless.
there's nice sports anime. Bamboo Blade was nice.
It's
except for the
my
first
whole
15
point
episodes.
is being like nobody likes every genre. That's silly. Like I will not watch a fucking sports anime.
And there was that sports anime where they played cards, which was kind of nice, except for the last 15 episodes.
I
And
mean,
Bamboo
look,
Blade. No, did I say Bamboo Blade already?
I watched a lot of. I've watched a lot of sports anime too, and I hate sports anime. It's like my least favorite category of them all. I
Worse
still
than
don't
Slice
understand.
of Life?
Yes.
I mean,
oh
Slice of
God,
Life
yeah.
can be nice.
Oh, dude, I've watched so much Slice of Life.
even mean?
It just
Oh, it's-
means
yeah,
people hanging out and living their lives, and they don't do
Yeah.
anything.
I'm like,
Nothing happens.
I'm like
It's
people
just-
call
nothing
Beastars
happens.
slice of life.
no,
No,
Beastars
it-
is not a slice of life.
Yeah,
Beastars
it
is
has
a mystery.
aspects.
What do
What the
words
hell?
mean?
What are you talking about? Slice of life.
Is
Yeah,
it
it
a
has
Slice of
mystery?
life
aspects.
implies. Oh,
It features
Yeah,
a
it's an a-
mystery. I don't think that makes the show
an
a
action-
mystery.
it's like an action mystery. I don't know what that. It's like, isn't the whole thing like all of Beastars is like somebody behind the scenes doing something, and then you like, oh, it's that guy all along. Like,
No.
no,
No, that is not the structure of the narrative.
oh, that's at least every time I've like been reading or
Like
watching Beastars,
season
it's-
1 opens up on one unsolved murder that season 2 deals with, and that's the only like looming like, whoa, what's happening? It's not a mystery.
Oh,
Like
Well.
the next villain, the season 3 villain is literally like, here he is. He's the guy that did this thing. Better deal with him. Like you know who he is like the whole season.
And then they just don't deal with him for a while.
Only season
'Cause it's
2
slice
is
of
like an
life.
investigation of any kind. And even
Yeah,
that's
slice
only
of life
even
tends-
that's only like 4 episodes of it.
Tends to be like comic or comedy, I should say, or like light comedy tends to be, or things like moe, harem things like Clanad, or what was that one that was really popular a few years back? I forget, but still.
I'm not too sure. I don't know.
I find that one kind of boring because it's so dependent on whether
The Way
the
of the
characters
House
are good.
Husband.
Oh,
The
yeah, I've
House
heard of
Husband.
that.
Is that slice of life? I haven't actually
That
seen
is
it.
slice of life. Yes. Way of the House Husband does count as slice of life. I mean the category is pretty broad. There's a lot of things that
Yeah,
count
yeah.
as slice of life. It's basically as long as someone is, as long as you're following someone in their day to day slice
Mhm.
of life. I mean technically Paranoia Agent's a slice of life if we're being
And the
honest.
thing is, The thing is, some anime just has a middle
It
of
is.
slice.
You're technically
slice of life.
following. You're just following the daily life of fucking baseball bat boy. All right, little slugger. You're just following his day to day where he goes and beats people up every day.
It's not an accurate retelling of any part of that show.
I'm not saying that it's
Especially
obviously
when you
fun
make-
and casual
Especially
and
with
having
some
a good time.
revelations.
Look, as long as you
Look,
see the character waking up and being like, oh, and doing the sounds of waking up, and then getting breakfast ready, all that stuff it's a hallmark.
Getting
of
breakfast
life.
ready. I don't think that's. I think it's a
Breakfast?
requirement.
It is. If they're not cooking breakfast in those little kitchens that Japanese people have, it's not slice of life.
What?
You know the ones I'm talking about, right? Those micro
In your
those
little
micro,
Japanese kitchen.
yeah, because they have these. It's like a cupboard, but it's a kitchen.
Animal
It's
Crossing
very-
Pocket Kitchen.
It's very common in Tokyo, I think, but other parts of
Tokyo.
Japan probably doesn't have. How is
I
it
know what you're
pronounced in
talking
Japanese?
about. I've stayed in an apartment like that has the like they're I don't know, they're like micro kitchens. They're basically
Yeah,
one they're
You have the
one they basically
cooker
you have the
and
sink
this-
and then one piece of like counter space, and
Mhm.
everything else is like fit into there. So you have like a fridge that's underneath the you have like a fridge that's to the left of the sink that's like separate, but it's a half fridge, so it's like tiny. And then you have you don't have a dishwasher obviously because you only have like you to live in, so it's just one dish. And then you have a
One
bunch of
di- yeah.
cabinets for all your food, and that's it. You just move on with life.
That's the thing with East Asian cuisine is that you don't make a whole lot of mess for dishes. Like you cook
That's
something.
absolutely not true. Depends on
Really?
it depends on how committed you are to making food.
Oh.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, you got like, well, if you're gonna add miso, because if you're gonna have miso soup, then you got to start.
Oh, yeah.
You got to make that. If you're gonna have some well, it depends. What kind of are you gonna have a side? Are you gonna have meat? Are you gonna have vegetables? Are you gonna have?
Yeah, it makes sense.
What is your main dish?
I say
'cause
that
if
I've never
it's-
cooked Asian food,
'cause
so I'm like,
It's
just
a mess.
going off of.
It's a huge mess. This is
I can see that. Yeah.
This is why like half of the process is automated with rice. Could you imagine having to also do rice on
Yeah.
the fucking stove? That'd be awful
Yeah.
too. God.
rice cooker.
Well, you
is
put it in a
such-
stupid machine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Use that cooker.
It's yeah,
The,
absolutely.
I was gonna.
That's why
say
they don't even
something.
do like. That's why also tea is the same way. They have their little hot water,
Mhm.
or electric hot water kettles, so that way you don't have to take up the stove again because your stove is always busy. It's got stuff on it.
Mhm.
You don't got time for this. I would like to try making traditional rice one day. That'd be nice, but boy, howdy, is that sounds like a lot of work.
Would you like heavy commitment?
Traditional rice? What do you mean making traditional rice?
You have the
You make rice every year for the rest of your life as a tradition.
you have it in like the stone. You have it like in the stone pot, and then you put the wood top on it, and you just kind of heat it up for a long time.
Oh, I've never
It's-
seen it. I've never seen anything like that.
This is like country out in the country in like the 1600s type
Mhm.
of rice. Like I'd
Mhm.
just be curious to try rice before you could throw
Just
two
what you're
cups
gonna
of
say
water
before
in
you
and
die.
before I die. No,
Rice
I just
is-
like to. I'd like to try it before. See what rice tasted like before you had the luxury of just like 2 cups of water and press it to go and just go do other things with your life.
I would also like to try the
Um,
weird, gross version of corn that used to exist.
Exactly.
I think it still
No,
exists.
I would like
There's-
to. I would really like to spend like a week out in the country of Japan and just like eating old food, like old country food. I don't know.
old
That sounds
food,
kind of
just
nice.
all moldy and whatnot.
No, just like the whatever weird historical kind of food before they had modern technology, where like they just go get vegetables and like steam them or something from the front yard. You're like, all right, I guess people can do that. I guess it's fine.
These days,
Um,
you probably
He chose literally the most boring possible outcome. Steamed
Yeah,
vegetables.
I don't know. What else do you like? You go and hunt pheasant, I guess, and that's your meat. You go. I don't know how. I don't really know how prevalent deer are in the countryside still. I don't know if that's like something you can still go and get.
you can probably you
Um,
can probably find like entire tourism related
Maybe.
industries.
Well, that's the
around
thing.
that.
I don't want it to be the tourism. I want to go stay with like someone's grandparents that live in the
Well,
middle
I hate
of
to
the
But then
break
you're
it
just
to you, but
bothering
you're a
them.
tourist.
But then you're just
I
bothering.
mean-
who's this foreign
Well,
person over
yeah.
here just bothering us?
Yeah, why not? just hang out. I'll still do stuff around the house. I'm not just gonna sit there and be an uppity tourist. Like, where's my food?
A strange skeletal
Like-
man has snuck into our house.
Just like in a very tall cloak, you could barely see just the outlines of like a very thin Slender Man looking thing.
Because you're also super tall, and they would be old Japanese people, so likely super short as well.
Konbanwa, namae wa Andrew desu. Yoroshiku onegaishimasu. And they're just like, Nani? Why are you here? What do you want? Get out. No rice for you. Sounds nice. Right? No. They also it was also weird. They also had like kitchens that were outside technically, like they're inside the home, but they're like on dirt floors and not part of the house proper. Like they're on a lower level and stuff. I always thought that was pretty interesting.
Yeah, because it's for fire safety, right?
I think it's like fire and flood. Like you don't really want to. Well, and also money. You don't really want to spend your money on trying to make your kitchen nice because who gives a shit? Like all that matters is that where you sleep is nice. That's kind of the only important factor to your living. That's why what's it called? Usually they like in the, earlier crappier homes, you would have like a kitchen would be somewhere external because you would just be focusing on building the house proper first. Like I need a place to sleep and not die. So you'd have like the tatami mats and then have like a little hearth in the center and you're like, done. And someone's like, how are you going to make food? You're like, oh shit. I'll do it outside. Like, and then when someone's like, no, we should probably start cooking inside. It's probably a better idea. It's like, oh, let's build that to the side of the house then. Just add that on.
How is traditional the toilets?
Japanese toilets traditionally? Yeah. It was that's the
you can pretty much
you can
a
find
hole
them.
you
They're
squat over.
They're squat toilets. They usually what they have is they have running water in them. And just water running, well, modern old toilets, which sounds stupid. But current modern old toilets have is like you squat in a thing and then there's running water and it just kind of like goes like down a
but
pneumatic
like
tube looking thing.
200 years ago, was it like it wasn't like that though?
I'm imagining it was typical sewer, which is like it's on a slant, and so you would shit in a hole. It would be at a slant. You pour water down it, and the water goes down the slant. So it just takes the
so it's similar, it's similar
yeah.
to what it is in
it's similar without running water, basically.
Yeah, to what it is here in Europe, or was.
Exactly. So, but yeah, it's not like there's only so many ways you can make a toilet. You could do it the shitty way like Romans did, which is like, everyone sits in the same room and looks at each other and waves. Or you can have like a nice little
it wasn't just waving.
Time.
They shared news. It was the Twitter of the
crap
time.
ass! They would sit there and scrub each other with the same stupid sponge. It's gross. Romans were gross people.
It wasn't a sponge. It was a conch.
Weird barbarians.
The sponge was for washing.
Took them seriously.
And you had your own sponge. You didn't use the public sponge. There was no public sponge.
Great. I'm glad for them. I'm glad they didn't use the public sponge while they were sitting there publicly pooping with each other. I don't look, man. I'm going to tell you this. Barbarians. There are barbarians, and then there were barbarians, and the Romans thought that they were better than barbarians when they were just barbarians with fancy togas.
The barbarians had better toilet hygiene than the Romans. But you would go to the public toilets if you wanted to, and inside of your tunic.
That's just like the word pagan, where it just means not us.
Yeah,
that was just it was just an exclusionary term that meant everybody else.
It is.
Pagan is. There's no group of people that are the barbarians.
These days, pagan has been sort of reappropriated by different groups, but it's, yeah.
Well, I'm not a barbarian, so clearly they're the barbarians.
So yeah, basically you didn't use a sponge. They used a conch. The Romans did, and you
wasn't it a communal conch though? I thought they all
it was a communal conch.
They had only one person could hold it. And that's the one that could talk.
They
just some really awkward bathroom visits.
But then, if you wanted to wash, you would use your own sponge, and the sponge you'd carry in a string tied to your belt. Inside of your tunic, so you'd go around your day with a sponge underneath. Yeah.
What the hell? You carry toilet paper with you at all times?
It's not toilet paper, it's a sponge. It's also you would wash it. It wasn't.
Well, yeah, you wash it, but what do you use that sponge for? Everything.
For the wiping.
I'm just imagining like the color of the water at those communal baths.
As long as it's brown, you're good.
I think it's funny. I just think it's funny.
We really gotta wrap up.
Yeah, we need to wrap up. But anyways, if you ever time travel, don't go take a poop in Rome. Just go hang out with like anyone else. Just go hang out with any of the people that they didn't like around them. They had way better toilet systems.
I don't know how it got here.
Apart from baths, the Romans were pretty good at baths.
Thank God. Thank God they didn't smell. Well, they still smell bad, but thank God they were at least wet when they smelled bad. My favorite.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Hope you get one gift that's not that bad. Good luck.
Good luck.
May
and
God
if
have
it
mercy
is
on
bad,
your souls.
tell the people who gave you the gift that it's bad.
Just tell them to their face.
Don't tell them. Don't
exactly.
Tell them.
No
this
one loves to be told
right
that,
here and now.
that way you won't get another bad gift next year.
Or you won't get a
now.
gift at all. Yeah.
Merry Christmas. Or for those of you who don't celebrate capitalism, Merry.
Merry.
Just Merry.
Just Merry. Not
That's
even
it.
Merry.
I don't know.
Just cold.
Cold. What?
Happy
What do you mean
cold.
cold? You're in
It's
California.
cold.
It's not cold.
Unless you live in Australia, it's summertime now, baby.
They can do
It's
whatever the
it
fuck
must
they
be
want.
really-
I mean, I'm pretty much sure like the premise of Christmas is that it's around being in the cold seasons.
It must be really awkward for well, maybe not
Except for,
awkward.
like-
They're used to it.
Except for the history of what it is supposed to exist for.
Yeah, but that's lies.
Well, yeah, it's lies, but I'm saying
Like,
that,
it's not- The date is made up. The date for Christmas has nothing to do with anything. It was just an existing pagan holiday that they wanted to replace. And I'm pretty sure that pagan holiday was about it being snowy and cold and being and so on. Like I think it is tied to the season.
Mhm.
It's just all international now. So Australians get to be like, well, actually, and we're like, that's nice.
That doesn't sound Australian.
Well, actually, I don't know. I have no fucking clue. Australia.
Does Santa
have no
Claus
idea
have an
either.
accent in every country he goes to? Does he like develop the accent of the locals?
Do you know that in
Ho
Portuguese
ho
we
ho,
don't
but in
laugh?
French it's pronounced the same way, but it has 12 letters.
In Portuguese we don't laugh ho ho ho. Nobody says
Santa?
ho ho ho.
Like,
But the Santa here says ho ho ho. If people say ho ho ho, they know
Nobody
it's,
says
it's
ho
the
ho.
Santa laugh.
Yeah, nobody says ho 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 anywhere, I don't think.
Really? Okay.
Yeah,
that's
no, it's
incorrect.
just Santa Claus's catchphrase apparently.
There we go.
I love the idea that he somehow like created his own unused dialect. Like no one uses.
Yeah, like
No
so,
one laughs like
yeah,
that.
only two people have ever done that. Santa Claus and Homer Simpson.
Dough and ho ho ho.
Yeah.
Oh ho ho.
Yeah, they're all the same. Good night,
Wait,
everybody.
that's just a One
that
Piece
was supposed to be
laugh
the
now.
outro, but we kept
Ho, ho, ho.
going.
We just keep going.
Bye.
Oh, okay. Bye.